Oh. Everybody. How's everyone doing? Omega Kita desu. Let me drink some water. Anyway, now we just let me play some Genshin. I haven't finished off Genshin story quest, but there's also one event quest that I'm gonna finish out first. Let's finish out on that one, then we'll do that story quest. I'm just tired. I also need to spend the rest in. Around 21 stars, 6 of those. I'm pretty sure I did my dailies early in the morning. Defeat boss. Fight the boss. Then out. Because I do not like fighting the seahorse. Like personally, I do not. Yeah, hello. What's your day? In case anyone are wondering, I fall asleep in the toilet. I know I was supposed to be earlier, but I fall asleep in the toilet though. I was just too tired today. I mean, like covering the case for Akio just kind of made me tired again. It's like I have to do research, I have to make sure that I was technically checking the right information and stuff. Everything was done in a way so that I can kind of like make sure that I was right in the end, somehow, somewhere. And I was like, end up being tired. In the end, I end up being sleepy. And because I was sleepy, I was using the toilet. Really want to have a copy of Delha. Yeah, the funny thing is, right, I realized that Delha might not be good in Sumeru or Inazuma character. But as for right now, I was testing her out this technically I was testing Delha out. I realized that she is good with not one, more like a few themes. I was actually testing her Delha with the latest Fontes character, and I realized that it is very very likely that Neverland and the possibly the Hydro Archon Forina might be very very good with Delha though. I skipped since she was announced in the standard banner. Yep, it's good if you skip her. She is gonna appear in the she's already appeared in the standard banner, so you can pull for her. I got her twice, and one more time in the standard banner. So, yeah. I was testing. I'm still thinking of a way how to come up with new metals team or whatever, because I know a lot of metal slave or whatever team come out with many different build. I have held out with a few build myself. Like seriously, some of the build that I ever come across is so ridiculous that it end up became a workable team. But one of the team that I was testing out was actually where was it again? Oh yes. It was actually Evelyn. Oh, he's not fully built yet, so I was actually surprised he was still able to pair very well with oh Rishi-san, hello there, how's today? Delha and Raigen Shogun and then a Kokomi. Probably in the future I might change Raigen Shogun to Forina because I want to test out Forina and or Neverlin with Forina, depending on how the build is. But so far this team had worked so ridiculous that my Neverlin, I can show you guys that he's not fully built yet. Oh. He's not fully built yet, except for going to this weapon. Chicken leg. You want to eat some chicken leg, young lady? He's not 100% built yet, so meaning to say that he was actually at zero artifact, everything 0. And when I was testing him out, like I was testing him out for some of the build, and I was actually very surprised at the damage it deal against some of the enemy, especially this Lolachu over here. It's already do high damage. It's not just do high damage though. I was testing the synergy of every single character and I was actually very surprised that it actually worked very well. Like for example, Raigen Shogun, Del Hey, and then God, idiot. Yep. That's how it worked for some reason. So it's like, what I really meant to say, I managed to hold a bucket of fried chicken. Oh. Good for you to holding on to a chicken. Even without fully built, yep. That's how decent Neverlin with Delha. Because if you notice that, a lot of people say like, Delha is not good in managed build, but if you do build her correctly, she is gonna be a very good synergy in reverse pep team though. Which I was actually very, very surprised when it actually worked. So I was going to hope that in the future, when Forina is released, probably she is, because I've seen a lot of people showing the team of Hu Tao with Forina. It doesn't work. It doesn't seem to synergize that well. So at that time when I was looking at the synergy, one thing when I looking at the kit at that time, I was like, why did the person not test with Delha? Is it because Delha was not doing enough damage? But if Delha does synergy very well, not only does Kokomi in the team help as a healer, Delha and Raigen Shogun can do additional damage due to that. The synergy of Raigen Shogun pair very well with many other characters. I was testing out different theme this afternoon, which is the reason why I was very, very tired. I was supposed to be doing recording. I actually doing synergies, like different meta build to test out, to the point that I actually totally forgotten about to do my recording for random chat. Yeah. So if Raigen Shogun and Neverlin is already a very good synergy on its own already. So imagine like, so in a way I was testing a lot of things out and it ended up working in a very scary way though. So even without a full build Neverlin, a synergy between the character would pair so well to the point that I was actually very surprised though. Hello, Amanda-san. How's your day? Also, Richie-san, you managed to eat a whole bucket. What do you mean by you managed to eat it? Are you alright? It never ends well when you eat that much. I'm tired from finding artifact, but I'm fine. Thank you for asking. Well, farming for artifact, the bane of every us that we hate. I never like farming for artifact anymore, to be true, but one of the day, guys. One of the day, probably next week, I will be farming for Neverlin and the others. I had saved enough already, guys. I forgot to use that shit. I had saved enough. I got, in case anyone want to know what I mean, I have 108, meaning to say that I'll be spending all of them on the artifact farming next week. I'll be using out all 100 next week, so you guys will be looking. You guys can expect a whole night farming from me. Yeah, I'm technically very sleepy for the day. I was testing things out to the point that I was so tired. To be honest, I don't have self-control though. setting self-control. I mean, like, setting self-control for yourself is good. I managed to eat without puking it out. Good for you, Riti-san. How many kg have you gained after eating that much chicken? Yeah, having self-control is good, but sometimes I don't have self-control though. Personally, that's how I feel like. 1.2 kg. Good for you, young Lele. What is self-control? Self-control, knowing when to stop yourself on things that you are supposed to be stopping not to do. I mean, like, I didn't have self-control, which is the reason why the last 5 video of random chat was me talking about Akio Air. Normally, I would like cover the case like in one part, in one shot, but somehow I never do that. I wonder why. You, like not falling to the rabbit hole. Well, true. Everyone, though. I mean, like, at least it's better than falling into a rabbit hole where everyone can't even get out. I mean, like, everyone will be like, what the hell is going to happen when we can't have self-control? Hey, but then again, self-control can be meant for everything, you know, guys. It can be meant for eating, it can be meant for whether you are sleeping or not. It can also mean that you knowing when to stop. Everything is part of life, and there is self-control, whether you can do it or not. Don't be like me, drink 3 cups of coffee and you still can fall asleep. Falling asleep is such an easy thing for me, for some reason. Oh yes, I still have to do this one. I have not done this yet though. I don't know if your character are just strong for a boss or the boss is just weak like the it's not too strong. Most of my characters are built averagely. I won't deny that my character can be strong for some of them, but it's more towards the synergies of each character though. I would say synergies of the team, because I always love testing out different characters. I got most of the characters except for a few of them. So the only 4-star is Kiara, which I was sadly couldn't get her for some reason. Ito, actually it's Ito, as well as Ganyu for some reason. So yeah, I have a lot of other characters to test out different synergies, so I was able to test out a lot of different builds. 3 cups of coffee easy. Damn. I wish I can not drink. I wish I can prevent myself from drinking too much coffee though. Drinking too much coffee is not good, you know? I know it's easy, but it doesn't mean it's good. You know what? Today today I'm just gonna test out a different build then. Different team. Normally I go for Skamaru, but let's see. Let's try out a different team today. So like I'm like the alchemist that love trying different reaction. In a way, yes. At the same time, I want to try see which, like sometimes testing out different build is always the best way to go. I mean, like one of the team that I ever recommend for some reason and it worked, and people just stopped using it out and trying it out, and it became a build that everyone loved to try out. It was actually Ayato Chongyu, Eugene. Where's my Eugene, by the way? Eugene, as well as Jeans. Where's my Eugene, by the way, again? A C2 gene. It had to be a C2 genes. So if you don't have C2 genes, Mika can be replaced. So this was one of the team that I ever recommend to people to build, and it worked for some reason so well that people start using it. So this time around, I'm going to change out this team. I'm going to try out Ayato. I'm going to try out. I have not tested out. Have anyone tested out Dragon Shogun and... No, you know what? I'm going to try out one team that I want to... It's so stupid. And yet it worked. You guys can go ahead and spread this. Help me spread this build to everyone. I know a lot of people don't like Hydro Traveler. I found a way to build him. I found a way to use Hydro Traveler. It's so stupid and it works. You can either use Kokomi or you can use Baizu. Although I do recommend Kokomi for HP on the synergies. Although Baizu as a healer is still workable because Hydro mean increased match HP by 25%, which is very good. But for some reason, if you don't have Kokomi, you can use Kokomi for Barbara or either Barbara or Baizu. Although I recommend Kokomi or Barbara because of HP. Yeah, I'll be drinking water in a while. Yeah, if you guys can have this team, I'm gonna show you this team. My Traveler holding on to the Aquilia, but I kind of gave him the Dendroid set. Although I really want to change to the new set, which I'll be farming somewhere next week because I have saved enough already. 100 resin to be used up, so I'll be doing it next week, just farming the whole night. But I have tested out this build. It worked so ridiculously. I have to show you guys this. It worked so ridiculously to the point that I was actually very surprised it actually worked. You need a replacement for Nahida. You can change to Kole. Free for build, I will show you guys. I will show you guys. The free to play will be removing this. Free to play if given the Traveler. So I'll... Where is my... Okay, my Traveler. I will go for the free to play. So it'll be Lisa, Crowley, and Barbara. This is the free to play option. And this is all not built yet, and it still works. So basically, you just need to use... First thing first, I need to take up the enemy. It just worked though. And if you go for the burst full set, so basically heal. Yep, this is just basically the free to play. So, like you mentioned, what about Yao Yao and others? So if this is just only a placement to show you guys that it would be best if you go for this. But if in the case that if you want to change for other team, I don't have Kiara, so I can't show you guys the build. So I was trying to test out. You can replace Crowley for Kirara. Or as you can also replace if you got Cintril, it will still work in not entirely, but it still kind of work because you need to have the more additional HP for more damage. Although Mona as well as Cintril does work, but the best if you got Mona, you can use Mona for this. So let's say for example, if you don't have Mona, you can change Mona. You can change Bara for either Baizu or Yao Yao in this case. So it would be best if you have two Hydro for the synergies of max HP, because that's how the Mule Traveler do. You guys saw how much damage I was able to do to the enemy, and to show you guys, it wasn't my Lisa or whatever doing the whole damage though. Lisa not fully built yet. She is not fully built yet. Mule Traveler is the one that is doing the most of the damage, and he's still not fully built. So it's that this is how you guys saw. Is that you guys shouldn't think of need to be fully built or whatsoever team in order to do so much damage. It doesn't. It's based on synergies. It's based on how you build each team out, and it depends on how you go about. So my recommendation is 2 Hydro. Although it doesn't mean that you can't go for 2 Dendroid. 2 Dendroid increase of mastery by 50% does help, but like I mentioned, you are not using Bloom to do the damage. Technically, you are not using Bloom to do damage. So in a sense, you are going for but it doesn't mean it doesn't pair well, because this is a synergist build. So and elemental mastery does help. I do recommend going for Hydro for increased damage for Hydro, but if you do go for double Dendroid, it still work. It does work. So let's say for example, if I want to test out, is it really that workable? It does. So and it still technically Star It's just not, if you guys notice, the damage wasn't as high as you guys might want it to be. So it doesn't do that much damage anymore. But if you do use double Hydro, it does work. So it just for some reason work in that so-called direction using double Hydro. I have tried out different build to test out everything. It just for some reason it worked that well. You can also replace like if you do have Tinali, you can go for Tinali. You can replace Crowley with Tinali and have at least Barbara as the base. So let's say for example, if you got this team Tinali, let's say you got Fish Shield, or if you got Fish Shield, also by all means go ahead use Fish Shield. It still work in this team. This team still work. Barbara work much better with this team. So I would recommend this team if you can get these two out. Barbara is one of the free early character, and her constant healing does help the travel a lot. So this team I can recommend if you really want to try this team out. But enough saying. I will show you guys just how crazy this team is. Yeah, this I will show you guys the most crazy team damage. But yeah, the team that I just showed you earlier, Fish Shield and Tinali does work well. And for me, one of the things I love testing in Genshin is that I want to test out every single synergies that every content creator never ever considered trying. And pew. Right now, we have to try out on the bigger guys over there. Healing, and goodbye. Pew 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 pew. Oh, okay. And now. Oh shit. Pop 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 pop. Easy the damage. And my, like I mentioned, my travel is not fully built yet. It's not even fully built yet. He's already doing so much crazy damage already. So I'm trying to farm next week for the new domain. I'm not sure about whether they are releasing new artifact for Fontaine 4.0, 4.2, but based on how I've seen most of the build, this artifact set seems to be the one that is suitable for most of the character at the moment. So I'm gonna farm for this one next week. I'm actually been holding off last patch because I had no idea is that. Well, I was like, I have no idea every kit first, but since 3 characters in my team need that artifact, so I'm technically on like, yeah, it seems alright to start farming for that though. But yeah, this is one of the team that I do recommend. If not a free-to-play players, artifact depend on your character. Yes, it does depends. It's just that not a lot of people go for that consideration because a lot of people tend like even for me, for my Kokomi, I recommend people to farm for the Ocean Huge Cram set, but yeah, I'm using Tenacity set. It's not that I don't like Tenacity set. It's just that it's a very good support for Kokomi, but not as a damage dealing and healing. So even my Kokomi is still using the Trading Tales of Dragon, although I can change it to. I wish I had, for some reason I didn't give it to her, but I can change it to a prototype. I mean, prototype is very good on her, but I give it to Baizu. So yeah, it depends on which. Normally, when I go with build or whatsoever, it's I have to test things out, different character whatsoever. And normally, I do recommend Ocean Huge Crime set. It's just that for me to test out more damage, I was using Tendency set. For damage testing is normally the build that I just showed you guys. That's the way to show, but it doesn't do much damage. Like it didn't really support too much as compared to Ocean Huge Crime set. So I do recommend Ocean Huge Crime set for that. It's just that for testing purposes for me, Tenacity set is much better. Yeah, I always recommend people Ocean Huge Crime set. Are you still there, Richie-san? Or asleep already? I don't know. But yeah, it depends on everyone. Normally, one of the reasons why, in case anyone asks me that, why do I don't build out most of my character that high? It depends on my mood for testing different character out. If I need to test out most of the thing, often more than not, having a weaker build can show what kind of character synergies is much better. So it depends on which character that I tend to go for. Even like in terms of build, even my Dragon Sugar, my crit rate, crit damage is like 1:2, so it's not that high. It still kind of depends. You were actually using the bell? Yes, I was using the bell on my Delha. It's much recommended for some people who to use prototype and whatsoever, but the best so far that I test out, the best so far weapon for Delha, if everyone don't have C1, I recommend using Sacrificial. Although Favonius Greatsword still considered not bad, but like I mentioned, I'm using Delha as a support, not as a damage dealer, because I want to see how synergies work for every different character. So Bell so far is the one that seems alright. And at the same time, mine is C2, so yeah, basically he if you got a C1 Delha, more HP is much more preference. So in the end, I end up giving her the Bell. I'm very hesitant to give her R5 at the moment. I still keeping this I'm still technically keeping this for future use, because so far there is few more characters that also use HP Greatsword, which is good. Like for example, what was her name again? Dory, yes. Dory is also good with bells. So I have seen it before. Her healing does skill with HP, so Bell also good on her. Which is the reason why I was very hesitant to build a R5 Bell on Delha at the moment. Does physical Delha work well? Yes, in a way. Not too much as you guys might think, but the one thing that Delha doesn't work, I won't say it won't work that well, don't get me wrong. It's just that most of her damage wise, the skilling is not as high as you guys might think. It's not as high you guys might think. If it's like, if the skill, like if you guys see the number, if it's 130, if it's like 130 on the first three digit, it's still considered alright. But at level 8 only, it's only like 108, and even at the next level, if I do try to level it up, it's only at 114, meaning to say that the next level will be around 120. At level 10, I believe it will be around 120. It's not a high scaling in terms of everything, and Great Sword charge attack is not good in a way. So I don't really recommend. I'm not saying it's not workable, it's just not recommendable. But on the other hand, HP Delha, good thing about her is she hardly die. I'm testing things out with her, and she's not even using full HP for her. Like her, if I go for full HP with her set, she is gonna be doing a lot of damage though. Mine is just basically attack, artifact. My artifact, like I mentioned, I have to show you guys. My Delha is not actually built properly. As you guys can see, she's not built properly. So yeah, I'm still trying to work on Delha. But so far, as a support Delha, she is doing a lot of damage though. So it does work well for some reason. I still don't understand how it works myself. But probably I'll be using Delha, build her properly next time. Just not now. Right. Need to do. You have a lot of pale frame set. So far, physical build character that I'm seeing so far, Fishu is definitely one of them. Like physical Fishu is also good, workable. Yeah, physical build character so far not a lot, but even a traveler, physical traveler does work in a way. Just not as Hydro traveler. I would actually recommend Electro or Dendroid physical traveler. That's in a way. I know that some people are like, what? Well, if you pair him with Raigen Shogun, that is gonna do a lot of effect though. I got them every waypoint in the new area. I have not. I have not though. I mean, like, I have to do recording, like, for random chat, checking and investigate some of the stuff before I post them out. I mean, like, I don't really randomly do stuff, and even like Genshin, when I was testing out different meta, different synergies for every different character, I still have to kind of test up. Like, it took me around 2-3 hours just to test out everything though. Dendro is the most reasonable considering how much people like it. Yes. Plus, if you pair it with Raigen Shogun, or even if you don't have Raigen Shogun, pairing him with Beetle still work. At least Beetle official, both of them work. Because you can have Beetle official for the Dendroid physical traveler, and it actually still worked though. I had tested that out last time. It worked in a very funny way. So I will recommend that. It's just that one of the build I ever tested and it worked in a very funny way. I will show you later on. After I do this one, I have not done this event yet, so I'm gonna do it. They will train as a driver. I haven't checked into. I haven't even tell one of my friends about the my theory for the latest one in Genshin though. I haven't even do the story yet. I couldn't even tell my friend about the theory yet. The Fontaine theory had been bothering me a lot for some reason. Like, Mihoyo slapped me with some of my theory being wrong though, which I was very happy. But I was like wondering, did Mihoyo watch my stream or something whenever I talk about the theory for some reason? Let me get this one. Like, I feel bad for Born in the Lab and release them as soon as they got their hand. So you freaking released them! Lovey-san, hello there. Also there. My biggest hope is Florina having two different personality and one being the dominant one. When Nahida told us about. You are not that far. You are not that far. Hello. Right now I'm playing Genshin at the moment. Okay. My theory about Florina is that I have seen theory talking about a different Florina in the machine that is doing the judging, as well as the Florina we are looking is the one. Kevin-san, hello there, how's today? So basically my theory, when I saw that, right, it's like Florina seems to be very weird in some way, where she is kind of like saying something, but yet we have seen like Mihoyo going far into telling us the inter thought of Florina. They never show us what is the thought behind the other Archon. They never show us how the other Archon would think. Like, out of nowhere, in Genshin, in 4.0, in Florina's story, in the Archon quest, they show us one thing, and that is the inner thought of Florina. How insecure she is. So when you say that there is a different personality you are not that far away. So what my theory about that is not, we are not going to step into is it a possibility of multi-personality. We are not going to talk is it linked to Neverlin being the possibility of the true Archon or not. I can see many reason and view pointing that Neverlin might be the true Dendro Archon, or Florina being some sort of the so-called the front line, of a childlike face and not the true Hydro Archon or something along the line. But what I'm looking at in this whole Archon scenario for Florina, if MiHoYo is really using Florina as the base, it's very, very likely that Florina that we are looking at is basically a degenerate of her former self. If we actually use Nahida, like the before Nahida, her previous the Greater Lord, we have seen something along the line that they assist, and if the more power they use, the smaller they become. And I will talk about previous so-called Archon, not really Archon, but people who is on level of Archon, that they are able to become smaller the more they use the power. Look at Gomba. We know that Gomba is technically an Archon, and he was sure to be a very giant so-called bear-like monster. But after sacrificing his power, he became a smaller Goomba that is Xiangling companion. We also seen how the wolf Borin, the ice wolf of Montage, where he sacrificed his power and he became a wolf. But it was also said that he was much bigger, he was much more powerful. But only by sacrificing his power to help the land, he became that wolf. Raigen Shogun and L, in a way I believe that might be so. So if you actually combine Raigen Shogun, Nahida, as well as Gomba, you are basically getting Florina. So what I believe is that Florina might be something along the line where she is more like a degenerate of her former self. It's like because the thing is, right, people know who she is. People know she is the Hydro Archon, and that she still show power of herself of being a very, how to say it, along the line of like, I'm the Greater Lord of the Hydro Nation, something along the line. So yes, I'm very intrigued to see that people know who she is, but the question lies in that her mindset seems to be way different, including that she herself is not aware of how the machine works when Charles was considered guilty at the time. So it's a very high possibility. But the thing is, right, if we look at slime, the slime, so far I know a lot of people saying about the slime theory, where the mammal slime mean that Venti can fly, the Gion slime creating seal so that Zhongli can create a seal, and throwing rock meaning that he can throw rock around. So what I'm very, very intrigued to think that, like, Electro Archon mean both A and May, as well as that Nahida meaning that the Greater Lord created the smaller slime. How much is the possibility of two Archon at the same time, like a twin Archon? We already got Raigen Shogun being the twin. We already know that it's the twin Archon. But one thing that when I was looking at the Hydro slime, I know people don't really like to use slime as the base, but one of the things that I was looking through, because we know that the Dendroid, the Gion is Zhongli, where he can create a seal. The mammal able to create we know that it's the twin. The funny thing a lot of people tend to forget is that one of them is called Hughes Electro Slime and the other one is called Mutant, which means that there is twin. We know that a mammal is the one that can fly. But the one thing that most people might not aware is that the hydro slime has shown two things. One is that it loves to shoot water, like bubbles and water at the enemy, and that it can walk on water. So far, the kit show for hydro, we know that it can walk on water. It's something that Hydro Archon was able to do. So far, based on what is there, we know that the Florina can walk on water. That is number one, which means that Kokomi had a contestant. Number two is shoot water. It has shown to, I have seen that it's shown to be able to release 3 different beasts, water beasts, to attack the enemy. That's number 2. But yeah, I won't give up on Kokomi. I'm using Kokomi as the healer. I believe that Kokomi as well as Florina would work very well together. I'm still hoping to get her and testing out. But one of the things that kind of made me really wonder is that in this whole damn thing, is it a larger and more powerful hydro slime that can create bubble to entrap its enemy? It is said that they can grow truly stammering size if given energy-rich environment, and eyewitnesses had supposedly seen hydro slime as huge as a small mound in Waverdon. We know that the Hydro Archon, each of the Archon government over one elemental. So I'm actually intrigued to know one of the things that, in terms of theory base, is very likely that we know that there is a prophecy stating that the Archon will be the only one left. Like they say that the Archon will be the only one left, and that everyone in Fontaine will be dissolved into the water. So what I'm actually thinking along the line is that it is very likely someone is trying to create that scenario. I'm not sure how true it is, but it's just a possibility that they want for it to become a more powerful Archon. Somehow, some way, somewhere. That's what I'm thinking. And that in order for her to become powerful, it is very likely that she has to kind of how to say it, gain more water. Because if you guys notice that one of the prophecy was meant to say was that she will be the only one left, and that she will be in the rain somehow, sacrifice. Okay, do you guys still remember the story for 4.0, the one where they say the disappearance of Fontaine's character? Do you guys still remember the one thing? Because from how I look at it, I feel like miHoYo is foreshadowing one of the story for 4.2. So what my theory was at the time, including now, is that there's a possibility that when the Fontaines all dissolved in the water, they became one entity. We know one thing for sure, that when the bad person, his girlfriend, dissolved into the water, it returned to the water and it became part of so-called the ocean lead. She became the ocean lead, so-called. But if you guys remember, when he actually entered the water and he met his so-called girlfriend, but who turned out it wasn't her former girlfriend. It was all his victims. So it meant to show that whichever Fontaine touched that primordial water, they dissolved into the water and they became part of the entity. So I believe that someone want to turn all Fontaine into that entity and became, like what you say, a sacrifice for Forina to become a stronger Archon. That's in my mind right now. There has to be a reason why out of nowhere someone decided to create this kind of scenario for Forina to happen. Nah, that's too dark and cruel even for a god. The thing is, right, this is Hoyoverse we are talking about. They had started seemingly going down the dark route though at the moment though. It's also the same company which don't even mind killing off NPCs, Tingyan, a character that is a playable character in Hokai Star Rail. So knowing the character, knowing them, I wouldn't put up a dark theory. If I know it's very very dark, but we are very near to the end game. Like we are very very near to the end game. So personally, I won't put past that it is a possibility. I'm not saying like it will not happen. It's just a theory that I put up. It's just a theory, and I do subscribe to MadPat from Game Theory, but I'm not gonna use that thing that he loved to say. The one line. Yeah, probably if MadPat watch my live stream and ask me about the Genshin theory, then probably I will just say that. But as for right now, not really. But the previous Archon had already had their fair share. Well, true. What you're saying is true, but so far considering that. So is MiHoYo literally showing us how it does and what it need to be done? Okay, basically what I believe in a sense is that right now that is a past that had yet to happen. And the Traveler main job is to prevent that from happening. We know that Neverlin had appeared in I haven't done the story, but MiHoYo released the cutscene already. MiHoYo releasing a cutscene means to say that we need to look at that cutscene carefully. MiHoYo putting up a cutscene always mean one thing. We have to look carefully at that cutscene. That's what I believe in. And they showing us the scene of Neverlin stopping the water, which means that Neverlin has the power to do so. And then one of the things is, right, from how I look at it, is that MiHoYo, in my theory, seems to be like trying their way to prevent ourselves from thinking about that, near the line of that. It might be just all in our mind, but it doesn't seem to be like, oh, it's just in your mind. It might be something like if you are putting up in your story, it is like you are telling us, is there something we should ignore? Not really anymore, because they are showing that it's a possibility and it's something is like, why is this such a thing? Because it's just weird. Why would they put up a story? It's not always they put up a story of a specific character, of a specific chapter, long before even when people whether do people complete that specific part of the quest yet or not. They just decided okay, we are going to put this out. Please take note. So it's just weird. Because if we look at some of the past story, they never put up the part of anything. But one thing for sure, is it gonna be dark? It's a possibility. They shown again a character dying in the cutscene. Not entirely, but somehow indicating the character had suffocated in as if he's drowning, which means that he dying in the game of an NPC or not is already a thing. The Hydro Dragon, so it does missing to control water. No, the thing is, right, they had, if you look carefully at the Primordial Sea water, one of the things that bothered me, like, in one thing for sure, why is the water moving as if it got a mind of its own? I had seen that cutscene. That bothered me a lot. Like, why does the water seemingly have a mind on its own? Higher power. No, the thing is, right, one of the thing I feel like MiHoYo have not, I'm pretty sure this is not leaked yet. But one of the thing that kind of like make me really wonder whether will 4.0 really release, because they already show a real boss in 4.2. But what bothered me in a way is that, like, what really bothered me is not just the water itself, but what I'm actually bothered is that what was the thing that in 4.0 storyline, and in 4.1 they did hint towards that part. What did the previous Archon hide under the water? If you actually remember one thing, they had said that before she passed away, she passed a message to Forina, which is well known as the prophecy. And the prophecy in a way is weird, because it's like she is not telling her and she's saying as if it's a prophecy. But the thing is, we know there is only one Archon of prophecy that is already kind of like being told by MiHoYo long ago, and that is the Pyro Archon. The Pyro Archon is the Archon of prophecy, whereas the Hydro Archon is the Archon of justice, or the Archon of law. So how is a law Archon, a Archon that governs over law, able to give a prophecy? It means that she is hiding it as a guide for something she hide. We know that in terms of justice, there is always the black and the white. We know the skill. Isn't Pyro the Archon of War? So far from what I know, I might be wrong, because I'm pretty sure when I look at the roadmap at the time, they indicate that it's not the Archon of War. It's actually the I'm pretty sure it was the Archon of Prophecy. If you guys look at the title at the time, they say the prophecy is the roadmap for chapter 6 was the prophecy. So we know that they indicate that in each part of the chapter, when they release chapter number Sumaru, chapter number 4, it indicate a dream. It was later revealed that the Dendro Archon wasn't the Archon of wisdom. Her true power was the Archon of dream. So it means and we know that in later for Fontet, she is they say it's justice, law and order. So it's not wrong to think that we already kind of have the idea that, oh yeah, the Hydro Archon is the justice. What about Teresa? That is already confirmed to be 100% plus chop plus stem plus warranty plus guarantee plus a kiss to the stem and chop again, that she is the Archon of love. they really implement that the Hydro Archon is the Cryo Archon is the Archon of Love, but they had also shown like there is really like long ago hint indicating that the Cryo Archon, sorry, the Cryo Archon at the moment have frozen her heart. She have frozen her feeling at the moment, and that for some reason a very long pass line by Venti indicating that our job is to melt the heart of the Archon of Love for some reason, which I had no idea why. So yeah, I believe that the end game of the Archon quest right now they indicate it's the Archon quest, guys. Like it's not Teffa quest, it's not Celestial quest, it's called Archon quest. They indicate it's an Archon quest, which means that chapter 1 is very likely that this is arc number 1. It's very, very likely that this is arc number 1, and that once we seen the after we kind of like save every Archon, the next arc will be either, if my prediction was right at the time, it will be known as not the Archon quest, it will be known as Kanria quest. If they decide to go that route, because the one thing is that World Quest it seems to be hinting towards that. In World Quest it seems to be hinting that. I just, the more I look into the theory, the more I look into most of the way they're indicating, it just seems to pinpoint towards that idea that maybe, just maybe, the Archon quest is just number 1, and that number 2 will step into Kanria to understand more of what happened to Kanria, and after in which we may or may not confront Celestia. But to be fair, for me who play Honkai Star Rail at the same time, and one of my friends who give me the theory for Honkai Impact, it was kind of funny that how right I was when I indicate that Honkai energy might be similar to Abyss power, Abyss in Genshin. How many updates are they planning? So far we know that 4.0 is Fontaine, 5.0 will be the Nation of Pyro, 6 will be the Cryo Nation. I know 6 is definitely the Cryo Nation. It's just that after that, the roadmap stopped. They stopped the roadmap for that time. The only roadmap that I ever know at that that I seen from MiHoYo was up to the Cryo Nation. It's very likely, like, yes, like if my prediction was right, I believe 7 will be Kanria. We know that there is 7 nations, but one of the theory that I come about was that a lot of people a lot of people give the theory of the chess piece, right? They say that each of the genuses represent a chess piece. So the thing is, when if we are talking about a chess piece, isn't there at least 8 pieces? Like, shouldn't there be at least 8 pieces? Why 7? Which means that might be like, there is a high chance, if my theory was right, Kanria had a god, and that god is the Abyssal twins. Because we know that in one of the world quests, they indicate the founder of Abyssal Order indicate one line: we summon you, the twins, for a reason, and that they hope they will save them. And why would you summon someone to save them? So my idea was at the time was that it's very likely that they're trying to summon a god. And that if my theory was right based on Honkai Star Rail, it is very likely the two traveler is actually known as Aeon in Honkai Star Rail. It is very likely they are Aeon, god from another world. We can follow the 7 thaler and make 1 thaler that is white theory. And I believe the 8 god is basically the twins that was summoned. I believe that the twin traveler, both the female and the male, were actually summoned by Khaenri'ah people as a proxy god for them. Because they did not have a god and they want to have an Archon for themselves. So I believe that the reason why they summoned the Archon was or the Traveler was for them to represent as their Archon. White being light and dark being abyss. The thing is, right, dark and light always represent one thing. It's always the same side of the it's always one side of the coin. So my theory at the time was that they summoned the twins at the time was for the sake of having an Archon to represent Khaenri'ah. We know that Khaenri'ah was the one that summoned them, but on the other hand, it's kind of weird if we use Honkai Star Rail as the base, because in Honkai Star Rail, they specifically say the seed. In Honkai Star Rail, they specifically say one word. They call the steroid a specific name. They give it a name called the seed. S-E-E-D. They call it a seed. In Genshin Impact, if anyone who do the Sumeru Dragon quest before, you remember one line from the Sumeru Dragon that actually caught my sight. And one of the lines in Sumeru indicate one thing that proved my theory was right. And that I believe the Lin line is not just the Abyss power. The Lin line had shown a few signs of power that is similar to as the Honkai energy in Honkai Impact, as well as similar as the fragmentation in Honkai Star Rail. If you guys remember, if anyone who play Honkai Star Rail, you should remember one thing is that, like the one, not just that. I believe this is the one. It's not the one that changed Inazuma. This seed is the seed of destruction. We know that Steroid in Honkai Star Rail had shown to be trying to destroy the world. We know that it's trying to destroy the world, but it has shown to summon monster out of nowhere. And it also have another thing. It's able to summon people of the past or people who don't even remember. It's just like people out of nowhere, they appeared. And then when they die, they turn into dust. When they die, they turn to dust. And the only thing is that in Genshin, when we kill, what caused enemy to appear out of nowhere and cause them to die and turn them to dust? So what I believe is that the Lin line in Genshin Impact is the steroid. That's my theory, and I believe that the Lin line had corrupted Celestia. Because we know that somehow, like we have seen somehow that there is an unknown god, and the unknown god has shown to be corrupted somehow. Smoke. Midnight is a possibility. it's just very hard for me to go full out on 100%. And the only thing that caused me to be like very confused about some of the theory is that some of the theory doesn't line up. Some of the theory doesn't line up. Like I tell you guys the thing is right, those are tidbits. It's like the huge image of the whole story at the moment that what MiHoYo is trying to tell us. But there are just few things that kind of doesn't link up, which I believe that maybe in future story we will know more. But as for right now, it's just some of the theory is just not really kind of link up. So I really can't say like when am I correct 100%. It's just that so far somehow somewhat MiHoYo had actually not debunked most of my theory. Like one of the theory I ever come across before they kind of say it out loud was that I actually say I was the first one to predict that Hanria is the most closer to Sumeru, and I believe that it's across the sea. And oh no, where they decided to say yep. Like Kea out of nowhere say, I read in the book that Kanria is very near to Sumeru, and I'm like, F my life. So what are the chances of Celestia being corrupted? I know this is gonna be a very big claim by me about Celestia. But my claim stand on not just that she is being corrupted. I'm not denying that there is a chance of her being corrupted. What I believe that when you remember the earlier when I said that she frozen her heart. What I believe very very likely is that she may have discovered the true power behind the Genesis, which is the reason why she decided to collect every Genesis from every Archon. We know that the Genesis had the power to generate energy on its own, and that the only other energy that have the same style would be steroid, that's shown in Hokai Star Wheel, which they have shown that steroid can be harvested. They show that in Hokai Star Wheel in the Ice World, Giravo, indicating that people try to harvest energy from the seed of destruction, the seed that is trying to destroy the world. And that we know one thing, that when the seed appeared, it was only, like I mentioned, Sumeru Dragon had indicated one of the line. The catastrophe appeared thousands of years ago. But the thing is, when it appeared, it didn't cause destruction only. It caused corrosion. It also caused corruption, which is the reason why most of the energy being got corrupted easily. They had indicated that in the story already. So my theory at the time was that it's very likely that the Genesis contain energy of the corruption, and that it may be the reason why Zhongli and the others are technically losing sort of their power by corrosion. Like Zhongli indicate one of the things is that him, despite being an old man, had one line indicating that he wished us to remember, and that I can't remember which line he said before, but the Genesis he did indicate along the line of kind of like that there is a very high chance of being corrupt, that he's very easily corrupted and he's losing his power based on that. Like after letting go of my Genesis, I never expected to see a day like this again. Thank you, friend. I have a new contract here. Can I? So the thing is, right, why is it that holding on to Genesis that you can only gain back the power, but after letting it go, it means that they can still grow strong. So it means that they have been relying on the Genesis for so long. It is very high chance that the Genesis not only power them up, but it also prevent them from getting strong. So it is very likely that the Genesis is technically corrupting him, and that letting it go free him. So one of the things that I kind of find it very, very weird about Zhongli's line, like a few things that he mentioned, is very intriguing for me to think about at the time. And one of the things that finally got me into thinking like it is a possibility the Genesis might be corrupting the Archon themselves. Even Venti and Dragon Shogun had shown line along the line that they are very happy that they let go of it though. I can't remember where was it, but I remember they actually indicate they are very happy of letting it go. Even Nahida, in her story, indicating she is fine letting go of the Genesis for knowledge. So it is very, very likely the Genesis can corrupt the Archon, and that letting it go prevent the corrosion, prevent that from happening to them. Because if the power is too good, they will keep the power first. But why are they giving it out? So it means that there is something they wish to drop it away. They wish to have the power away from them. It means that the power, despite the inhuman power where they can go and use it and they go and say, "Oh, I have all the power in the universe in my hand, but I'm gonna let it go." So it means that letting it go stop them from getting corrupted. Is that my theory that it's very likely that the Genesis contain the power of corrosion if used a lot. If used a lot. Now stop for a moment and think, guys. What other power, the more you use, the more you die? So far there is one specific power that we know of, and that is the Fatuist delusion. We know that delusion was so-called created by Fatuist and claimed to be created by the Archon themselves. So what I'm very intrigued to think that there is a possibility that delusion stem from the power of the Archon, the Cryo Archon Genesis, and they study the Genesis, harvest that knowledge, and created delusion. That's my theory, and that it is very likely that the more you use Genesis, the more you will get corrupted, and the more high chance that you will die from it. Which Zhongli has shown that he was very happy to release it. Venti has shown he's very happy to release it. So it's not just a remote control or a mind control machine. I believe the Genesis might also hold the power of corruption, and that the Cryo Archon is trying to save everyone by removing that part from them. But the thing is, in order for that to happen, she frozen her feeling. That's what I believe. She frozen her feeling. But it's also a high chance that she had not just only frozen her feeling, she is also using the cryo power to freeze time, technically freeze time, the time for her to get corrupted. So I believe that the cryo Archon might have been corrupted to the point that she have to so-called freeze her power to prevent herself from getting into deeper worse situation for herself. So the only way to prevent that from happening is by using the Traveler. And I'm very firm to say that the idea when you say light and dark, right? I believe that the Traveler that we are using is light. The light, and in the sense that I believe his true power is the light of purification. And that the only way to save the Cryo Archon was to use the male Traveler or the female Traveler to use the power of purification to purify the corrosion. And that was one of my theory. It's just that I'm not so sure how MiHoYo is going about for the story though. So far, I'm not very sure. It's just that the way it seems to me, if the other travel is dark, yeah, I myself is very intrigued to say that is a possibility though. I myself is very intrigued to say that is a high possibility. Because the twin traveler, one dark and one light. In Chinese term we call it yin yang, which I believe in a sense I believe very very likely that they are using the yin and yang for this whole story though. That's what I'm believing. Balance is quiet. Yep. I think it's a very high possibility though. It's just kind of weird. Because if one of the theory that I come about for one of the theory I come about, like a lot of people say it was against the idea that the battle pass scenario, right, where the princess and the prince, right, where they say the princess is corrupted by a snake, and some people accepted that, and down the line people rejected that, and now people don't even think about it. So my theory at the time, when I was the one who gave the idea, one of the person who gave the idea, I think it's very very likely that the battle pass is actually foreshadowing Kanria. And that the theory that I have to say, Kree Mother will appear. That is a very interesting story, but we have to see how. At least I got something about her that I'm very confused. A few questions that I really need answering on. Okay, for Kanria, I believe very likely that the kingdom mentioned in the battle pass is very likely that Kanria is the nation, and that the princess was trying to they actually indicate the princess went kind of like travel to find the pearls, and that for some reason she got tricked and got corrupted, which means that the abyssal twin, the other abyssal twin, is the dark one, which means in a sense it's not wrong that she had been technically corrupted by the abyss. That's what I'm thinking. But the one thing that kind of bothered me in a sense was that how is the story indicating the other travel that we are using? So it's very likely that in canon wise, the female traveler had been corrupted by the abyssal, and that she is now taking note of the nation itself. And we know that the Kanria is dead. We know that Kanria had been flattened technically, but the remnant of Kanria, most of them is still alive, and they are in abyss order. So it's not wrong to say that the battle pass is indicating that the abyssal power, is that I believe that the kingdom is Kanria in the battle pass. The dark princess is the abyssal twin. The other prince that is going to travel around the world is us, the players. And that the pearls with the snake, that is very likely to be abyssal power. And they had shown a pearl looking thing. And I believe that pearl looking thing might be the abyssal power. And I believe in a very high chance in terms of Honkai Star Rail game term, that pearl could be a steroid. The seed of destruction. Okay, in regard to Cream Mother, okay, one of the things I actually kind of wonder. Initially, I thought Cream Mother was the one. Oh, sorry, I thought Cream Mother was the one behind the creation of everything. I thought Cream Mother was Go. Until when I realized that Go wasn't. That's still something. Okay, that's the thing. Have you guys ever wondered? They say there is 8 different reach. But why is welcome back, Richie San? Take to you quite long. But have you guys ever wondered why 8 reach but 7 nation? It means that Go belong to Kanria, which means that each of the reach belong to a nation, which means that there was 8 different nations. But why is it 7 Archon? I'm going to pass out for a quick second. Wow, good for you, young lady. Why have you not slept yet? So the thing is, have you guys ever considered that is there a possibility that there are 8 different nations and that Kanria wanted to have an Archon for them to be acknowledged as one of the great nations? Because they do not have an Archon, because they say that there is 7 different Archon. So there is 2 theories I'm putting out forward to let the whole world know. Number 1 theory, there might be 8 different Archon in the past, but one of them got erased from history. We know that there is a tree that can, if you erase memory from the record of the tree, no one will remember you. Skamaru did that. So what are the chances of some of the Archon did that in the past? Which I believe the god might have erased the record of one of the 8 Archon. So I believe there might be 8 different Archon. Theory number 2. The Celestial decided to create 7 different Archon to take the 7 elemental, and that there is a high chance that the Archon protect their own country, which is known as the 7 Nation. Kanria, without an Archon on their own, is jealous of it and wish to have an Archon of their own, which is the reason why they summoned the twins. Because not having an Archon means there is no one to protect them, which means that they are considered an exile, so what I believe, one of the 2 theory is correct that I just put out. No, the thing is, right, it's not before the question was like, before Kanria was considered exile, why was it's like they never was considered to be a nation. I believe that one of the theory that I just said, I was very leaning towards the second prediction and theory that I put out was, it's very likely that when Celestial put up 7 Archon, they said 7 different seeds, 7 different Archon. So I'm very intrigued to think that there is a high possibility that Kanria was left out. But the thing is, right, we know that if the 7 pieces are based off a chess piece, then the question would like, why is it not 8 pieces? There is a very high chance that there is a either there is only 7 Archon, or there is a high chance that they remove one of the power out from history. So that is my theory. That's my theory at the moment about Kanria. Because so far theory, I'm not saying like there is evidence to support most of my theory. It's just that based on my calculation and the way the story seems to head, it seems to lean towards that route. I'm not saying I will be right. If I'm not the creator of Genshin, I'm not the writer, and I definitely had no idea how they go about. But as a writer, as a story writer myself, it seems to lead me toward that end. And I got no idea whether is it true or not, but I'm pretty sure that based on my wisdom, that seems to be the right theory I'm coming up with. My end is recording something. Oh, did I disturb you, Richie-san? I was kind of like talking about all different Genshin theory though.
2つリオセスリの態度が急変した点について最初は見て見ぬふりをしていたのにどうして急に牙を剥いたのか
I'm starting to wonder how strict is the law for Archon like the do and don't. That is a very good question. That is a very good question. The one thing we know very well is that the rules seem to be very strict to the point that they needed a contract Archon, Zhongli, to be the immediate person to indicate this rule to everyone. We know that Zhongli is the god of contract and that he had for some reason he indicate the power to be like everyone have to follow the contract, and that I believe that the contract was written with him as the first. We know that the Zhongli had lived beyond that already. So I believe that number one rule is that they can't say the rule. But considering that Venti and Zhongli have differences between themselves, we know that Venti Zhongli had no much issue with other Archon except Venti, and Venti always seemed to be afraid of Zhongli. So what I believe is that it's very high chance that Zhongli initially followed the rule of the Celestia, and that the rule that he is all part of the contract. They had differences. The funny thing is that it's all based on what Venti did in the past. If anyone who's seen the interaction between Zhongli and Venti, okay, let's do the story. Let the story go about so that I can show you. It is even in their voice line. It's in their voice line. It's so damn obvious. I mean, like, when we say like the Archon of Freedom, I believe that in the based on what Venti character is, it's a very possibility that Venti is a person who is willing to share information. I heard he didn't drink his wine or something. It's the opposite. It's more towards that Venti was the one sharing the wine with Zhongli, and that one of the situation was he caused a lot of people near to Zhongli to be so drunk to the point that he just couldn't bear with it anymore. So that is number one. Carefree character. Yeah, that's the thing.
そも本邸の政府側に異議を申し立てる
Carefree character can be mean. We know that in montage, everyone is carefree,
来た隙を泳ぐことが
which means to say that carefree can also mean that they don't mind, which means that there is a possibility that Venti is willing to share information. We know that Venti is willing to share information, which he had time and time again said it in a very puzzly way. Like he never really say it out loud, but he always say in a poem style where he kind of show us the hint. He lead us to the answer. Whereas Zhongli don't really say it out because it's part of the contract. Zhongli is the person who is more like the serious type and follow the rule, whereas Venti is the one who is just carefree and don't care about it.
つまり彼には何か成し遂げたい目的があるんじゃないかな。おそらく医務室の秘密と関係してるんだろう。
Poetic Tomb of a Bar.
一体何なのかについては
Yes.
皆目見当もつかない。
So yeah, Zhongli haven't really shared too much information about, like, of all the Archon we've seen, the one in montage, Venti was willing to share in a puzzly way. Zhongli wasn't wanting to share anything because he couldn't say anything due to contract. The one that signed the contract was Reigen Mei, and Mei was in Reigen Sugar Mei was the one with all the information, so she know it, but Reigen A doesn't. We know that A didn't know too much, so there is a possibility if we think about it. A couldn't share the information because she was not aware. The one that is handling the diplomatic stuff was Mei, her twin sister. So we can't get information out of her. And here's the funny part about Sumeru. Why does Nahida share so much information? Like I mentioned, the one that made the pet was the previous Archon, the previous Dendro Archon, her previous so-called a secondary her. The Greater Lord had one thing, is that she erased her information herself so that she can remove the forbidden knowledge. And that it is very likely that the one that made the pet was the Greater Lord, and when she erased herself, the pet was no longer part of it. And when that happened, Nahida was free to help the traveler to give him information that he required. So that there is a high chance that Nahida was not under the pet. Now here's the thing which I almost forgot to mention. Forina, where does she lie on? Was the pet made on the previous Archon, or was the pet made by her? And that what is the secret behind the machine that is still hiding, the one who governed the law? There is still so many things that is still kind of like very confusing, which I really hope 4.2 will give out more information, even though I have not done the story for 4.1. So Nahida doesn't know anything about the binding rule of the Archon. Yes, that's what I believe in. That's what I believe in. It does solve a lot. Yep, because in terms of logical, like this one, I have to use a little bit of logical thinking. That it seems that my theory, I won't say is it my theory is right or not, but my theory seems to be on the logical side, and it does mean that it seems to be that's the best way to explain most of the thing. But like I mentioned, I hope our cute Nahida doesn't get into trouble for helping us. I do not think she will. The one thing she do inherited from her former self was the wisdom. she knows very well how much she can help, and that she also knows how much she can't help. Because if we know one thing is that she never really give us the answer on the spot. She did something along the line of what Venti did. Lead the answer in a puzzly way so that the traveler can look for the answer himself. So I believe there is a high chance that Nahida know very well along the line that she can't say too much, and that only by leading the people to the right answer will she not get in trouble. Because we know that in the past, a lot of people saying along the line that it's very likely that Celestia will attack Kanria. Not attack Kanria. Will attack Sumeru. We know there is a chance that of a future where Sumeru will fall. A lot of people say that the land of the wisdom know too much. When you know too much, you get targeted by Celestia. So it's the reason why the provident knowledge was erased from Sumeru, which removed them from being a target. And that and Celestia didn't do that anymore. So all the time that Archon saying that they don't know and they always lead us to other regions, Archon is that a sign of saying that is Archon are following that binding rule? Yes and no. It's yes, in a way, is that the Archon know that giving the answer is only based on one of their views. It's not binding rule, yes, in a way that they know they can't say too much. That is number one. That is number yes. But the reason why I say no is not because of A and Nahida, but basically towards the part that they want to have the traveler have different view from different Archon. As like one of the things I believe is that everyone is different and everyone think differently. Even when people share the same brain cell, it's not like they think everything the same way. They can have different personality, they can have different food preference, they can have different things they like, things that they don't like. So what I meant to say is that there is a high chance that for the Archon to lead the traveler to other nations is that they want them to see the world and experience not just every single thing, but to understand what is happening, as well as when they do meet the Archon, understand what is their point of view. So by having that, yes, what you say is not wrong. It's not just only to increase and broaden the perspective, but to let us know and lead to the right conclusion that we are looking for.
ありがとう。さて、次が最後の呪文だ。もしリオセスリに計画が存在するとしたら、それは何なのか。現在僕が把握できているのは、その計画が
Because the one thing that if we see, like if we think about it carefully, why did every single thing in every nation seems to happen at the right moment when the traveler entered the nation and not having to save the nation from a crisis? It's like everything was planned at the right time, in the right moment. Because the one thing is that all of them didn't happen at the same time. If everything happened at the same time, Tefa would have fallen. Everything was happening accordingly when the traveler happened. It's like they all happened in a accordingly way. So I believe that something must be planning behind the scene to make that everything is work according to line. And that is when I believe the 8 different witch might have a play in this whole damn thing. Not just the Archon and Celestia. I believe it's not a trial set by Celestia. I don't believe it's a trial set by the Archon. I believe, if my theory is right, it is very, very likely the the Hexagon Witch are the one who planned the trial. That is the thing that I was willing to pull out. Because I believe that Alice is the one who helped to plan the trial. That's my theory, at least. At least that's my theory, so you guys can take it with a pinch of salt. Don't think too much about it though. But at least that's what I'm believing in at the moment. I believe that the 8 Witch are the one behind the trial. The sea will engulf and eat everyone, just like the prophecy say. But just in case, is my theory a little bit too much for you guys? Like, I mean, like one of my viewers, Konadi-san, always say that when she hear my theory, she always have a headache because it's too much to be taken in one shot. I haven't seen her today though. It's just that most of my theory always end up being ridiculous. But my theory is more towards the point of like more logical thing, but it doesn't mean that I'm right every single time. It's just that when I'm right, Hoyo will just put up the answer the next patch though. Like for some reason, the next patch they will release the whether my answer correct or not. Like one of my theory for Frontage at the moment, which I believe is that it's very likely we'll know who is the right Hydro Archon. Like we know that Hydro Archon is the Hydro Archon, but the thing is, right, what I'm pushing forward is that we'll know what is the right mindset behind the Hydro Archon. Is she really a brat, or is she really, like what you mentioned, having a multi-personality behind it? It's just us discussing. It doesn't mean to be right. True. I mean, what you say is true. It's just that not. It's just that sometimes when you come up with a theory and it end up being right, it's like, damn, yeah, just gets correctly out of nowhere. Well, I mean, one of the funny thing I ever predicted correctly was that, ridiculously at the time before the Sumeru one, I think it was in Inazuma. Oh, I remember. I'm pretty sure it happened when, because I streamed that on Twitch, so I didn't have the record anymore. But I believe at the time I said something along the line of that there is a high chance that we'll get to get more behind the scene in Sumeru. And then in Sumeru they just straight out tell us every single thing, and I was like, what the hell did I just predict? Isn't that fun in different ways? I mean, like, to be honest, sometimes it's good for me to listen to different theory, because the one thing is like the cat with the blue hat, and I'm pretty sure there was another theory that always give his own side of the story. I I'm very against someone who write their theory as if it's right and take it that they are right all the time. There are some theory crafter I do have argument with because they just reject my idea a lot of the time. But the funny thing is that it always end up me being correct most of the time. But I'm not saying that I always the one who say, I'm always correct, I will have to be the right one. No. I listen to many people giving their theory, understanding from their perspective, and then sometimes you will learn things that you might not be expecting. Like even for me, I initially didn't want to use Honkai Impact or Honkai Star Rail as the base for the story for Genshin. But knowing that this is called Hoyoverse, a different world, like I have a follower here called Richie-san, she played Honkai Impact. It was at that time when I realized that I asked her for some of the theory, some of the idea, that I managed to pinpoint that there is a high chance of Honkai energy and Abyss power in Genshin Impact to be the one and the same. And my theory was technically proven correct in Honkai Star Rail when the energy is known also likely to be known as steroid. And that is when I realized that there is a high chance that the Aeon, we know that there is different Aeon in different world or different universe, and I believe that both the Traveler are Aeon. Both the Traveler are Aeon, and that there is a high possibility that the twin Traveler, both the male and the female, might be actually the Aeon traveling on the train, visiting different places. And that there is a high chance that they were summoned by the Khamria people, and they come across that because we know for some reason Pong Pong lost his or her memory. I still have no idea what's the gender for Pong Pong, but there is a high chance that Pong Pong was kind of like lost the memory after that situation, or is it very likely that a possibility that the Traveler is actually a so-called passenger of the train. Which means that the reason why they were able to travel from planet to planet, because they say that they travel from planet to planet. But how can they just fly out of nowhere? If anyone who noticed one thing, right? In Honkai Star Rail, they show one specific scene. I need to sleep and wake to a weird dream. Wait, do you just woke up and sleep again, or wake again? So basically, one of the scenes, if you guys remember, when they show the scenery of the Trailblazer and Marshavan and Dunhan returning to the train, they show it as a shooting star. They show the scene of a shooting star. So my theory at that time was that how the Traveler appeared in Tefar? They took the train landed somewhere in Tefar, they alight the place, they visit the place, and they wanted to get out. Because if you remember one of the cutscenes, they show the female Traveler trying to grab his brother and leave the place. And the thing is, right, if they could leave the place, they will leave the place very fast. But why do they have to take time to go to one place? It's very, very likely that they have to wait for the train to get them, and they were waiting for the train. But somehow the train missed them or something along the line, and that they were trapped in Tefar, which is the reason why when they tried to run off, they were stopped by the unknown god. Which is the reason why sometimes when I say like it's a very high chance that we have to that might be what happening, but there is also a chance of it not being true. So it's you have to use story from different different games as the base now. We can't just use Genshin Impact as the base. There's a reason why I'm using Honkai Star Rail as the base, because Honkai Star Rail is not just the new generation, but I believe that Honkai Star Rail might be the one to answer many different things And one of the funny things is that they say that the Traveler Wind was considered a cereal in a curious in Hokai Star Rail, and that they say it's an Easter egg. I don't believe that's an Easter egg anymore. I believe that the wing that appeared in Hokai Star Rail, the same wing that the Traveler used, I believe that that was given to the spaceship after he had saved her and that he had left that place. That's my theory.
君とパイモンには十分すぎるほど助けてもらってる。
Yes. So, ちょっと待って、Richie さん。Are you awake or are you asleep now?
僕たちはここに立つことすらできなかっただろう。今後助けが必要な時はいつでもハウスオブハースに来てくれていいからね。
Give me a second to bomb my head and walk to confirm. Fair point.
君たちにその気がなくてもこれだけ一緒に過ごしてきたんだ。僕たち3人にとって君たちはもはや
Alright, let's right now I just want to look into every single detail of the second 4.2 story though. I have not watched most of them yet. I need to watch it very careful. Like the Primordial Sea is still puzzling because when MiHoYo put it as a mystery quest, if what they are showing is kind of like foreshadowing, if we look at it as a foreshadowing, it's very high chance that my theory earlier when I say that someone might want the Hydro Archon to be more powerful is the reason why by sacrificing everyone, it's a very high chance that the Primordial Sea was technically awakened earlier. Because the cutscene they show, Neverlin said this is not the day. Which means that it is possibly based on the prophecy is on a later time at a later day. Which means that it has to happen one day, but not now. But someone decided to make it happen earlier. Okay, confirm not in Dreamland. Okay, good morning, young Lily. But I need to understand the story. I'm thinking that someone is trying to make Hydro Archon to be the more powerful than ever. Paimon. Why choose a Pacific Archon? Well, the thing is, right, so far, we know that in early early story, they indicate one line. Water have memory and all. It's not just that. Okay. Number one, we know that water have memory. It's not water have memory. It's more that we now know that in the most pure water, which is known as the primordial sea water, that Pacific water hold memory. Which I believe to say that anyone that belong in Fontaine, when touched by the water, will dissolve into the water and have their conscious or their soul merge with that water. I believe that is the true meaning behind water have memory. It's not just they remember, it's more towards the part that I believe is that they hold soul inside. And I'm willing to say, I'm very willing to say, when the former Hydro Archon like when the former Hydro Archon indicate one thing, that she hold a secret that is hidden inside this place. I believe that she was the one who created that water that hold the soul of all those people in the past. Or it might be or it might be just another pure water that somehow she was trying to trap after eating a lot of Fontaine members. It's very likely that the former Hydro Archon was the one who trapped the so-called the monster sea in here though. Water and memory and all. I mean, like, if we look at the 4.0 Archon quest, right, we know for sure there is soul, and like we know there is so-called soul in the water, in that Pacific water, right? If we look at it in another way, what they say, what is soul? We know for sure that one thing is that it can be also linked to memory. It's very likely that it can be linked to memory. So I'm very intrigued to think that there is a high chance, like it's just a possibility. I think there is a high chance that when the Hydro Archon passed away, she became a water. And that I mean, like, we know that Archon, when they die, they have to turn into something. We know that in Zhongli quest number 1. Zhongli quest number 1, when the Sword Archon was killed, she turned to Sword. And she turned everyone surrounding her into Sword. So what I believe that if we use that theory, I think you guys will know why I say that water might be the Hydro Archon. I need to see and plan it and grow it. Because if we think that the sword, we already know there is a Sword Archon already. And that when she died, after killed by her own people, she turned into Sword and all the surrounding became Sword. So I wouldn't even think it's far-fetched to think that there's a high chance that the water is actually the Hydro Archon, and that when and that the only and that once it released, it will turn everyone into water. Because there is already hint of Fontaine people turning into water. They literally tell everyone, those people turn into water. They even show one of the so-called gut turn into water. So I believe that the Primal Sea Water might be actually the Hydro Archon. The former Hydro Archon, to be exact. So they are trying to bring the memory of the previous Hydro Archon to Forina by force. I believe you might be onto something though. I think what you say might be not wrong. You might be onto something. I believe that it's not bringing the memory to the previous Archon to Forina by force. I'm intrigued to think that they kind of think that doing so will awaken Forina as the so-called true Hydro Archon. I believe that's what they are thinking it. You're recording Honkai Impact main quest, but also tired and sleepy at the same time. Well, which is to be true. You know the 5 random chat that the past 5 random chat when I was covering, right? I was testing out Genshin method. I was doing research into like into some of the stuff of the Akio Air. I was reading the letter statement written by the former Akio Air's talents. I also went out with my mom to go and buy some grocery. I also have to check a few stuff. So my mind today is actually totally at zero. And I'm still able to share my theory out for some reason. Yeah, actually, and you guys have to understand, I was supposed to be streaming way earlier, and I fall asleep in the toilet. So I was actually I was sitting down, and I just fell asleep in the toilet. Yeah, I want this version. Don't do anything to her, please. Okay, at the moment, I don't think anything will happen to Forina. At the moment, that's what I'm believing in. But one of the things I believe that MiHoYo really want, I mean, like, we really know that MiHoYo always shown that the traveler always go around helping the nation. So what I'm believing it at the moment, that if Arlecchino do betray Fatuis, like if Arlecchino became playable and that she betrayed Fatuis, there is a high chance that she will join the traveler in some way, just like Skamaru, and that her main job was to save Florina. That's what I'm believing. I believe both of us hate is either 0 or negative something. Richie-san, if you notice, I've been very yabai in some of my late stream, you know. Whether I like it or not. Yeah, just say that she can betray someone easily. The thing is, right, Arlecchino seems to betray people for one reason. But at the same time, I can't I can't really say is she a good person or not. So far, based on Lenny's point of view, she is a good person. But when we know who, like, she is number 4, which, okay, the one thing that MiHoYo threw me out of the window was that when I say that Arlecchino might be number 6 or number 7 of the Fatuis, MiHoYo just slapped me in the face and said, oh, she is actually number 4. Which means that she is stronger than, which means that she is way stronger than Skamaru. That was the thing that, like, that was the thing that I was, because I say that at the time we didn't know the what was Arlecchino number. They never indicate at the time. So I was like, let's see who she might be. But on the other hand, when they decided to show Arlecchino was number 4, the mind was like, MiHoYo, why do you just say she's number 4 when I just said it's impossible for her to be number 4? I thought she would be at least number 7, right after Skamaru, who is number 6. MiHoYo just say, nope, she's actually number 4. Meaning to say she is stronger than, which means that she is stronger than Skamaru. He's already controlled by Arlecchino. So far, we only got 2 Fatuis at the moment. So far, we know that Chao. We know that so far Chao and, like, so I mean, like, okay, this one I have to look at just to prove the line. Yep, earlier number, okay, just to show that Zhongli and Venti have issue. just to show you Venti, and just to show you Bakanyu, Futao, Pua, Venti. Here. It read us why. That bar is just the bar has just been here, hasn't he? That drunkard is a disgrace to the art. Oh, has he tricked you into getting drunk? You're sucking a little. Wait a moment, I'll brew you a pot of smoldering tea. It'll be ready in only 6 hours. So just it gave out a vibe I really hate, and I can't really say what is it. Yeah, the moment when it's coming towards the point that Zhongli didn't have good relationship with Venti, and Venti definitely didn't had also second that. So basically, when we go to see the line of Moretz, have you seen the gentleman around? Huh? He's just a normal man by the name of Zhongli now. That might be quite a change for that old blockhead. Like that old blockhead. Wow, what a nice insult name. Come with me to see him, will you? I have a vantage I dug out from Windrise that I can use it as a consulate gift. Oh, and did he seem strong when you see him? How strong? Am I likely to get blown away? Which means that Zhongli is not scared enough to blow him away. Which is the reason why I say that Venti and Zhongli might have bad relation. It's just a possibility. Alacino. I don't have enough information to hear it from him, so I have to actually go and search online for people talking about Orina. About the Hydro. It's kind of weird. The one thing that actually caught me off guard was Netherlin had enough information to talk about the Geon, Amemo, Electro, and Dendro Archon. But have you guys noticed that he only referred Forina as Forina, not the Hydro Archon? Have you guys noticed one thing? He referred all 4 Archon as the Archon, but only Forina as Forina, not the Hydro Archon. Have you guys noticed that? Lily Forina. Yeah, but he never refer her as the Hydro Archon. So I have to dig into that. Hopefully I'll be able to get him soon enough. Because only at Friendship 4 will I get to hear that. So far I need to see how he referring to all 4 other nation Archon. But it's very intriguing to know. But one of the things that caught me kind of wondering, and you say like maybe the finally of heart might have been mind control. I'm agree on that point. I do believe that there is a high possibility that this little child had all been brainwashed. I mean, like, we all hear the word blooming, right? Grooming in a way. Or he just annoyed and stopped with the Archon title. Hey, there's a possibility though. Yagami-san. That's a possibility. Well, not mine. Is 7 thaler a thing? 7 thaler is a thing though. Richie-san, 7 thaler is a thing in Genshin. The 7th harlot represents the 7th elemental. I can't even trust them even though I want to. Okay. When you say maybe they will bloom, you are not that far away. Because look at the line when... Look at this line about father teaching. When I was little, I was taught that we should be ready to give our life for our family. But when father took control, this philosopher changed. Father said that every one of us is important and that we have to value our own life, be our strongest self, and stand on our own 2 feet in this world. But actually, all of that is much harder than just following orders. Now the question is, right, when father took control, this specific line kind of bothered me a lot, is that it seems that before Alachino take over, there is a possibility that, because if we actually seen if we seen in Inazuma, they had said that there was an order from the orphanage. We know the House of Heart is an orphanage in Sinaraya. But in here, they had indicate themselves to be a orphanage for the Fatuis. But somehow, Alachino is the one taking over here. Alachino is betraying the Fatuis is happening. Did they mention? If you guys remember, there was one quest where we have to help a Pacific Fatuis. That was disguising as a swine maiden at the time. Do you remember the quest of that happening? The so-called the hidden, the CC mage that was hiding as a swine maiden in Inazuma. They did mention along the line that most of them are orphanage. So it's kind of weird, like at the time all of them was known to, like some of them was kind, and yet some of them was being trained to be like part of the Fatuis in the most harsh way, like giving up your life and don't forget to give up your life or whatsoever. Yeah, the thing is, right, Arachino told them to prioritize their life, but the former one say they must give up their life. In Inazuma, they had shown that when they take in orphanage from different nation, they also say one thing along the line that you must give up your life. So the question I was actually kind of wonder that, like, at the time I was wondering who was the one that was governing over the orphanage at the time before Arachino take over. Has 7 Thaler that control a city and all of them a young clone. Richie-san. Let me tell you one thing. You might have forgotten, since both of us also play Honkai Star Rail. What is the nation that we are going to visit? What is the next world that we are entering? Do you still recall? In Honkai Star Rail. Okay. The next nation in Honkai Star Rail that we are visiting is the nation of rainbows. So tell me, how many Thaler are there in a rainbow? Mm-hmm. I hope that explains my answer. Giving out life from one people is thought to be a great sign or something rather than running away. What Misaka doing there? Mm, the thing is, right, that is called brainwashing though. I believe the Fatuis, the orphanage are doing something along the line of called brainwashing. Or maybe in set predator term, blooming. So I believe there is a high possibility that all of the Fatuis that willing to give out their life for their nation is that they were brainwashed into doing so. And that Alachino, if she is really a kind lady, she might, and that she is willing to betray the Fatui, it's very likely that she wanted to, she might be willing to betray to help people, not betraying to, unless she, the thing is, right, she's, it's very hard to see her past a good person until when the true story proves so. Because the thing is, right, Mihoyo, like Mihoyo had indicate her design. They had indicate her to be evil. So it's very hard even for me that are they doing something like, oh, she is an evil girl, don't help her whatsoever, and then oh no, Sai, she is a kind young lady. What? but if that is really the case, that mean that she is way more powerful in terms of plot line than Kefa from Honkai Star Rail. Like, we know that Kefa from Honkai Star Rail was thought to be evil, got mistaken. We finally realized that she's not evil, but at the same time, she is still trying to do something that is considered evil. Understand what I mean to say? So, if Alachino is considered evil, do something that is considered evil, only to realize that she is doing out of kindness, that would be like, are we having a Kefa 2.0 in Genshin? Kefa is mommy, she's an assassin. But the thing is, Alachino is a father, a daddy. The opposite of mommy. Actually, she's also technically a mommy though. If we look at, I just don't understand why is she called a father. Damn, you got me there. In this means chapter, Honkai Beast doesn't exist, but it's not on Earth but another universe. Yeah, I'll be damn. I wouldn't be surprised if they release a Honkai Beast similar style in Genshin or in Star Rail though. Yeah, the thing is, right, Alachino right now, okay, right now, one of the things why I couldn't predict fully for the story in the Honkai, for Genshin Impact at the moment is that there is, like, this is a mystery thing, and that the more I think about it, the more I realize that there is reason behind each action. Like, why did MiHoYo decide to show us the story of about the disappearing girls? We know that in the disappearing girls, when they touch the water, they dissolve. But if they are reusing that story, the dissolving of the of the Fontes member into water, if we look at it closely, that is foreshadowing for 4.2, because in 4.1 we know that the primordial water is a dangerous water, and now we are going to see that it's going to attack in 4.2. So we have to see how it goes though. But the one thing that I still have no idea I don't have, because due to the lack of information, is that who is Forina actually? As well as what is the true aim behind Alachino? As long as I don't have these two information, I can't really think what is the true plot for Fontes quest at the moment. I even go to the point of digging all past information on in Genshin Impact to understand more, but I still can't find it. So I'm either I miss it or I might have to look into it though. It's just confusing at the moment. I want that nurse. So far, how to say this? Is it weird if I say that finally we still got it's not finally, it's more like we are going to get a healer, a hydro healer again. We got Kokomi, we got Barbara, and now we got a rabbit looking. It's good meaning that we know about Fu Hua long ago, also her backstory. I mean, like, imagine like if they decide to show Fu Hua's story in Honkai Star Rail halfway, because I believe in 1.4 Honkai Star Rail we'll know more information on that. I can go with the idea that Alachino already know the Hydro Archon story and want to do something for her benefit. I won't be. Also that if for some reason Forina became strong, Alachino can be under her protection. Now the thing is, right, we also know that she is also a Fontes. She is also from Fontes. Meaning to say that if she does touch the primordial seawater, she will become part of it. So there is a high chance that she want to be part of that water. If that do really happen. But the thing is, like, Alachino doesn't seem like the type of person who want to do that. At the moment, I do not know what is the true aim of Alachino at the moment, because it's like MiHoYo is keeping it a secret because they're trying to say that it's a secret. Which is the reason why I say no information for me. It's very hard for me to come up with a theory at the moment. But betraying the factories seems not far-fetched at the moment. Betraying that, because I still can't understand what is her true aim at the moment. It's just weird at the moment, depending on how like, the thing is, right, we know that Alachino joined the factories for a reason. It really be indicated that she wants something from the factories. Because the one thing is that they actually like other like Chow and Skamaru say she is not hesitant to betray anyone as long as it reach her goal. Her goal, what is it? That's the one thing I'm still wondering. She is not saying it out, and there is no hint of it in the moment, in the story at the moment. Even Lenny and the others just say, "Oh, she's just trying to save Fontaine," which, if she really meant to save Fontaine, why do the other Harvingers saying like they, like why they don't mention about saving at all? It means that there might be a secret motive that Arlecchino is hiding. It's just that I myself is still not sure though. Do you think that the previous Archon was sealed off but the higher up for doing so if yes, then maybe Celestia ordered Arlecchino to do a sad thing to make her come out. Okay, one of the theory that I'm thinking along the line is that Orina might not be actually holding on to the hydrogenesis. So far, one of the theory I ever come across was that, not really. I'm more like I'm actually helped to emphasize on that at the time. Do you remember the one thing is that in many of the Fontaine event story, they always indicate one thing. They are trying to create alternative energy for Fontaine. And that many people have been coming out, like even kinetic energy or whatsoever energy, like different type of energy to power, like as an alternative power source for Fontaine. Do you remember that? Yes, two different energy. Okay. One of the thing is that in the most of the event, they indicate one line. They are not looking for alternate energy. They are looking to replace the current energy, which means that there might be some sort of an force in the current energy they are using at the moment. And what I'm believing in is that someone must have ordered them to look for alternative, and there is a high chance that the current energy they are using is not reliable. So what is the energy? We know that the energy is that the court, when they charge a person in court, that in turn created an energy to help fuel the country Fontaine up. But the question will be, why does it have to be a court? So what I'm believing is that it might not be actually the energy from the machine. I believe that the machine is holding on to the hydrogenesis. I believe that it is holding, is the one that is providing the energy to power up the nation. And that if in the case that the genesis does get taken by the factory, which we all know always happen some way, somehow, somewhat, that if when that happens, Fontaine will be left without energy. Because one of the theory I come up in the past was that I believe that Fontaine is powered up by using the hydrogenesis. So if that is really the case, if the hydrogenesis does get taken, Fontaine might not be able to run properly, so they have to look for alternative energy. And that is my theory for the genesis and the nation part. Speaking of machine, yes, what machine?
少なくとも公爵が着任してからはずっとこんな感じね。はあ、ヌビレットさんももっとここに来てくれたらいいのに。そうすればきっとこの場所を好きになってくれると思う。だって暗くてごちゃごちゃしているでしょ。
Darkness and chaos. Why darkness and chaos though?
Why do you think Chao was framed guilty? Why was Chao framed guilty? To be okay. One of the thing I believe very surely is that we know that Chao say that he was there as a vacation, was what he say. But one of the things that Chao that we do know very well is that he worked for the Fatuis, and the Fatuis are looking to take the Genesis. So I believe that the machine, like I mentioned earlier, yes, from that's being powered by Genesis, I believe that the machine, which I say that likely to be the one holding on to the Genesis, I believe that it's a high chance that the machine is trying to protect itself, and that it knows that Chao is aiming for him. When you mean, yeah, I believe very likely that the machine is the one that is aware that Chao is aiming for it, and that it might be in danger if Chao do take the Genesis from the machine. It means that there will be no energy to power up the nation, and that can be considered a crime. Because we know how Chao tried to take the so-called Gion Genesis from Zhongli at the time through the heart of the fake body. Maybe not exactly Chao, but since he's a Fatui, he gives the aura. In a way, it. I mean, like, to be fair. Well, the one thing is, right, it's also because of that, right? That's why I really want to. It's also one of the reasons why I wanted to get Neverlit. That epic moment when he stopped Chao was the reason, the main reason why I wanted to get Neverlit. I was like, that looks so damn badass. Until when people show him how funny he is when he cried out the mountain, I was like, oh my god.
メロピデ要塞は不穏な空気に包まれるだろう。軽率な行動を取らないよう気をつけてくれ。
Misaka. Can't argue with that. Can't argue with that. Consider how good that pet was agreeable, that scene was epic.
水の味は実に幽怨な趣を持つ。モンドの水は清く澄んでいて、リーウェの水は後味が長く続く。稲妻の水は深みがあり、スメールの水は複雑で、じっくりと舌で味わう必要があるのだ。
I don't understand why his idling chat is talking about water from different nations. Why is it talking about different nation water? It is so funny. But that scene of him stopping Chow was the most epic one though, from how I look at it. Vision, Corina. He didn't even mention about others, except for the 4 Archon, Westerly, Kale, the twins, the twin magician, Sinwin, Corina, and Navia. Really, there will be more character released in future, which so far I guess this is the only few character. Why not? If Zhongli can rumble about his wine. Now the thing is, right, I'm very intrigued to know what is he talking about. How he's going to talk about the Gion Archon though. I'll be laughing if he's mentioned him as an old acquaintance. I mean, I'll be damn shocked if he actually say Zhongli, an old acquaintance. I'll be like, what the hell did you just say? But this, the constellation did prove one point that she is, Neverly is not the Hydro Archon, because we know that every Archon, do have something along the line of, based on the constellation, like for A was herself, Zhongli himself, Venti also himself, and Nahida also herself. So we know that based off the constellation, it's already know who is who, because only Archon is constellation will look designed based on them. But since Combat and only David had the same scene, won't be surprised.
私は自身の仕事の価値とフォンテーヌの人々がなすことの意義を認めている。
I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if Neverlin is technically an acquaintance. But the thing is, how is Neverlin, like, so far they indicate him as human, like other people take him as human, but we know that he doesn't seem human already. We know he is not technically human. But there is no, like, even in the story, they say based on like they are trying to indicate that he's a normal, like it's not known for his personal desire whatsoever. Like there is no indication. Like there is no indication. But does he know his previous incarnation? No, the thing is, right, why is it that he seems to have the power to stop the primordial water? And that he, like, why does he have the power to... It seems that... Because the one thing that story 2, if you read at it, right, the last part, this was the thing that actually got me wondering a lot. If you actually go and look at the last two sentences, one thing to note is that he had been the only Lutez in the land for a very long time. So much so that people often speculate that he must have been given a imaginary long life due to divine favor. As such, it is well that he is nothing if not fair-minded at all. Such an extensive term that it surely lead to problems someday. As to what he is precisely, a familiar of the Hydro Archon or a mystery Hydro elemental creature perhaps. There are a great many opinions, though Neverland had never once commented on such thought. Indeed, he is a person most imperilled. I won't even be surprised that he is actually created by the Hydro Archon, the former one. I mean, like they did indicate that the Hydro Archon did created something. I won't even be surprised when he is the Hydro Archon created. Because the thing is, right, we know he lived a long life already, and it really indicate the only Lutez, meaning to say he's the only judge that have been alive the whole throughout the rule of Fontaine. So I was hoping that once I unlock number 4, I will know more. But right now, he does seems to add strange. Yep, he does. That's why character story always explain a lot, and that at the moment we can't see anything. At the moment we can't see anything, so I can't comment too much on that. Neverland story had been very interesting. It may also highlight behind what is happening in 4.2. How will a person go to sleep again? Be like Paimon. Yawn and close your eye and sleep. Impossible. Oh my god, Paimon sleeping is so cute. Wow, she really immediately fall asleep. Like, oh my god, they show the traveler sleeping with Paimon. Nice. But yeah, we have to look into Neverland story next time once we can unlock his friendship though. Cause I'm wide awake. Wipe away your awake and make it sleep. What happened? Let's see. They're all running away. Jenna! Like what? What happened? It's time for your bed. Yeah, go ahead and sleep. Have a good night rest. Yeah, I'll be ending in a while. It's already pretty late on my end.
とりあえず俺たちについてきてくれ。
Evacuate outwardly?
そう、できるだけ上に行けって言われてる。
He's just gonna figure out how timestamp on video work.
公爵に用事があるんだ。お前たちは先に行っててくれ。オイラたちのことは心配しなくていいぞ。
おい、気をつけろよ。
Hey, thank you. And now faster, get out of the place.
まずは上に向かってください。最上層に到達したら外に出て。
For the moment, I was like, oh, am I gonna fight Infinite?
皆さん、直ちに避難してください。外へ避難を。外へ避難を。まずは上に向かってください。最上層に到達したら外に出てここを離れてください。
It's to decide shut off video in case people don't like a break and just skip it. Oh, basically what you need to do is just type the time in a 00, the double dot and 00. You have to, if there is additional time, put additional 2 more 0. But normally it's just only 00 dash, I had no idea what's the word term called, and it's additional 0. But I have more than 43 things to decide it. That depends. Oh my god, nice cutscene. Let me watch the cutscene now.
そう言ったはずだ。
Oh my god, this cutscene. The cutscene that they show on Genshin online video.
いいところに来た。だがすぐにここを離れてくれ。
まだです。
3、2、1。
Damn. Whoa! Nice. Oh my. 素晴らしい。
ここは長くない。水中防衛ラインが時期決壊するとヌビレットさんに伝えてくれ。
お前たちはどうすんだよ。
あの方が到着するまで私たちが最後の砦だ。
Okay. So
ここのゲート、どれくらい持つと思う？
そりゃ俺らの頑張り次第だ。
damn. What was the thing that we need to go and find out? How are we gonna find out? They cut this part out though. They purposely cut out this part. Which means, yep, they cut out this part.
旅人、今すぐ歌劇場に向かってほしい。もうじきフリーナがそこで召使いに会う。どうかフリーナを守ってくれ。くれぐれも彼女を召使い
You must protect Farina.
にさせてはいけない。ああ、必ず心から感謝する。
Go to the opera house. This is something that I really want to see. Oh my god. For twist and the god.
お二人が旅人さんとパイモンさんでしょうか。ヌビレット様から話は聞いております。こちらへどうぞ。ヌビレット様からすでにお聞きになっていると思いますが、ここから先は武力行使に適さない場です。ですが、それでもできる限りフリーナ様の安全を守るようご尽力ください。
はい。I have to protect Florina. So this is the part that I'm missing all my information on. I'm gonna look into this. Is it possible to get a force bite under air conditioner? If your body if your body temperature do fall, yup, you can. Well, hello.
フリーナ殿がおっしゃっていた気品は君たち二人だったのか。
もちろん二人はこの場に不可欠な存在だからね。デザートを並べた僕のテーブルの前に客人が二人もいないなんてありえない。それだとあまりに寂しすぎて僕の身分に
The traveler meeting with the Alachino.
お会いできて光栄だ、旅人。ご公明を兼ねてから伺っている。
One of the 11th.
私はファデュイ執行官、召使い。
It is not looking good. The head of she doesn't seem she certainly doesn't seem easy to deal with.
君たちの席はもう用意してあるよ。さあ、僕の隣にかけるといい。
Beside, is pouring hot water a good or bad solution? Warm water, not hot water. Around 38 degrees to 40 degrees would be fine. So you can boil hot water, put in a bucket, lower it down with cold water, and then pour it over your body. It'll be very kimochi for a moment only. It'll be much better if you can but wait, if pouring hot water can't feel it. Is number one, your skin is gonna get burned even without feeling it. Number one, your skin will get burned. Number two, you need there must be something wrong with you. Number three, can I call an ambulance for you?
私とフリーナ殿の習慣についてきっと二人はまだ知らないだろう。実はつい最近約束をしたんだ。時間があったら一緒にお茶を楽しもうとね。
時間があれば。なぜ時間があれば？ Why is it that only when the time?
ほら、これはフリーナ殿が大変気に入っているケーキだ。毎日限定で16個しか販売されず、タイミングを逃せばすぐに売り切れてしまう。旅人とパイモンもぜひ召し上がってみてくれ。
She seems friendly enough, but that can't be all is to her. The cave is a force to be reckoned with. I should be very cautious around.
旅人、ケーキはどうだった？
そうか。なら私も安心した。
Charles say was on the mouth after all.
君の好みは私とフリーナ殿と大して変わらない。
They slowly going pale before I pour the hot water, and after the it is red, but still can't feel it. Not like a burn, but yep, that is. It's not like a burn, but technically pouring hot water, too hot of a water into your skin, it is causing a burn. Red color is really considered burning, you know, Rishi-san. That's not blood going to your leg. It's yep. Yeah, but I know it's not the boiled one. You mean the water is not boiled one, but technically warm? If touch is still hurt. Okay.
Normally, I would recommend people to take a thermometer and check the water how hot it is. Normally, around 40 degrees would be good for a bath. I feel like Richie need a bath. And like, really, in my mind, for some reason, I really wish that you can go to Japan onsen once. Like somehow, I really wish you can. I feel like you definitely enjoy that moment. Wait, Charles to have no reason to say something like that.
最近彼はどう過ごしているのか。ここにいる皆も知っているだろう。講師が失踪したということをね。
Or are you aware that he got missing?
彼が泳ぎに長けているといいんだが。
そういうことなら僕からも一言付け加えよう。そのものの武芸はまあ悪くないものだ。
Malaysia have a Japanese onsen. It's in KL, but you never went in, or did you went in before? Let's save this screen up. I want to see, once the cutscene over, I want to stop at the Pacific part. I don't want to play too, as much as I want to continue playing Genshin, I also want to pause so that I can take a rest. Pretty late in my place at the moment, even though I know that I should be streaming earlier. Can't really have the time to play every single time though, that's the thing. But with my leg and health right now, I can't go alone. I asked my other friend, they say can't, it's not good. I'm not even sure is it considered good though. I feel like the one in Japan might be much better.
おや、フリーナ殿も彼の武芸について存じているようだね。ああ、そうだ、忘れていた。彼はまさに君の目の前で最高審判官ヌビレット殿に裁かれたんだった。私の同僚はよそでも通用するくらいの腕前なんだが、まさかああいった人物を相手にするとは思わなかっただろう。ヌビレット殿の手際にはまさに感服せざるを得ない。
Now that I look at her carefully, is she a granny? The way, but a young-looking granny. I mean, like she got white gray hair.
そうだろうな。君であれば確かに調べられるだろう。
I have a friend said at least go to a spa, but one thing I actually don't know what a spa is to begin with. A spa is something like an onsen, but it's more towards relaxation and for health, like massage, that kind of thing. But I didn't see the use of it. It helped to relax your body. Because the thing is, right, it's more... Spa is way different from onsen. Onsen is more towards using warm water as the for healing out your body and cleaning out your body. But spa is towards treatment of your body. You can do it on your own, right? In a way, yes. In a way, yes. I mean, like they do. I mean, like you know there is some sort of like bath water, right? Bath water treatment, right? Those kind of where you put the things into the water in your bath before you take a bath. That is considered sparring, you know. You just buy something to put into the water, and the water turn into some sort of like medical condition stuff, and bath bomb. Yeah, something. Yeah, Bafong is actually a kind of can be considered a spa because you're technically using something along the line of treating your body with something nice.
そこはもっと喜ぶところなんじゃないか。
Afraid of using it? Yeah. If we do not know what kind of reaction it will give to your skin, it's very hard to know, considering due to your condition.
もちろん喜ばしいことではあるが、いささか残念なのだよ。この情報をもう少し早く聞けていれば、私ももっと喜んでいただろう。だが、講師が失踪してから、すでに長い時間が。
I was just drawing there. Make sure at least someone is of a female status know you are doing that.
でもタルタリアはまだ生きてるからな。そこについては安心していいぞ。
おや、どうしてそんな確証を持てる？
だってオイラたち、あいつがメロピデ要塞を離れた手がかりを見つけたんだ。
Alchino is a pyro.
その手がかりはどこへ向かった？
I almost draw myself in the hotel before because I don't know how to use a tab. What the hell do you just do it? Alright, where are we? Where did he go after leaving the fortress? Paimon. Oh no, Paimon's statement just left us wide open.
メロピデ要塞は水中に位置している。正門から堂々と出ない限り、水路を使って脱獄することになるはずだ。彼が無事に海底から離れられた証拠を見つけたというのか？
But there was also no evidence that he had been injured or killed.
ほう、それはいいことだ。つい先日、彼の妹のトーニャからここフォンテーヌに手紙が届いた。残念ながら彼はいなかったため、私が代わりに受け取ることになったが。そうだ、教えてほしい。彼が普段どんな風に変身しているのか。背景、親愛なるトーニャ。俺は今歌劇場の前で街の景色を堪能してる。こんな感じでいいのだろう。
I don't think that's the way he actually said it. He's turning up the pressure. I'm not sure if I'm able to convince her, but I can at least try to distract her from falling out.
手紙というのはある程度の型があるものだ。内容さえ正しければ、どんな書式でどんな言葉を使っても。
あれ、カップの中身が揺れてるぞ。
これもきっとある種の予兆だろ、フリーナ殿。
その言い方よく理解できないんだが。
I see. I made my pawn myself and it's a pain. Have you entered the next stage? Oh.
ご苦労。あとは私に任せるといい。
本当にお一人で？
問題ない。
へえ、この状況に対処できるってことはやはりもしくは責任感が強いだけってこともあり得るか。
一理ある。
Oh, this epic scene.
予言の日はいつか訪れるかもしれない。だが今ではない。一種族さえ容易に滅ぼせる太古の力。果てなき最悪は憤怒の発散に等しい。こたびの審判はあまりに壮大ゆえ採決に参加できそうにない。
Oh. Oh. I just have a theory.
どうやら中の問題は解決したようだ。
Guys, what if the Hydro Archon, when I say that the Hydro Archon was trapped in what if that the Hydro Archon was suggested to the law of Fontage and that she was so-called executed for it, and that I mentioned before, when an Archon died, if they sacrificed themselves, the power became good. But if they were killed unintentionally, the energy will get released in a negative way. Earlier, Neverlin said one line, the tsunami of fury. What if the tsunami of fury, also known as the ancient power itself, is actually because the Hydro Archon was dead and the energy was not released in the right way, and that it became so-called trapped in there as a mean to punish her. And that the reason why it was finally released recently was because, like, it just released technically today, is because the sentence was out already, and that Neverlin have to rewrite the punishment again for it to stay further in. If that is the case, that would be the most ridiculous theory I've ever come up with in my whole Genshin run.
ああ、しばらくは。
今回の賭けは俺の勝ちってわけだ。さて、景品をもらおうか。
確かに、あなたの言った通りだった。
賭けをしたのか。
あんたが一人で来るか、大勢を引き連れてくるかな。一人で来るはずないってクロリンデさんは思ってたのさ。
立場上そうあるべきだと思った。けどこの件の機密レベルは私の予想を上回っていたようだ。
あんたもそろそろ 機密性の高い仕事に慣れてきたじゃないか。法廷ってのは。
Maybe going. Need to find it. Okay, have a good night rest. I'll be ending my stream after this story end.
公爵の執務室に茶葉などいくらでもあります。法典を送った方が有意義なはずです。
なんだ？俺の法意識が低いと皮肉ってるわけじゃないよな。
公爵はメロピデ要塞を法の及ばない場所として扱ってはいなかったと思うが、
ここには法典に興味を持つ者などあまりいないと思っていたが
さっきの話は冗談に決まってるだろ。で、水の上にはまだトラブルが残ってるのか？
急務があるのでしたら先にお戻りください。あなたがパレメルモニアを長く離れられないことは我々も承知していますから。
ああ、向こうも順調だといいのだが。
いいだろう。おままごとはここまでだ。
Oh my
フ
god.
リーなどの神として先ほどの事象が何なのかを完全に把握していることだろう。それともそれはあくまで私の憶測に過ぎないのかな。君のその表情を見るに私の
Okay, I'm gonna end the stream on my reality side. So everyone on reality side, おやすみ。
この後に及んで外交的な立場で話す必要もないだろう。フォンテーヌ人の一人として言わせてもらう。予言にある内容が少しずつ現実になってきている今、それについて最も把握しているのは君だ。にもかかわらず、君はここでのんきにお茶を飲み、ケーキを楽しんでいる。まるでガーデンの中に虫が数匹迷い込んだくらいにしか考えていない。このままで本当にいいのか。予言は全ての人の頭上に吊られている剣だ。あらゆる勢力が災いを防ぐ方法や自分を救う方法を模索している。ハウス・オブ・ハースの孤児たちでさえこの故郷を救おうと尽力しているのだ。それなのに君は魔人フォカロルス。君は終始何の動きも見せない。驚くほど悠長に構えている。
違う。僕は予言を軽んじたことも悠長に構えていたこともない。今の発言を撤回しろ。神に対して勝手な憶測をするなど不敬極まりないぞ。
いや、私一人だけではない。フォンテーヌに住まうあまたの民たちが同じ疑問を抱いているはずだ。水の神よ、君はどのようにして彼らを救い私たちを救うつもりだ。君が庇護すべき民たちは
Wow, damn. She's pushing for it.
じき沈んでしまう土地で生きればいい。
僕はもちろん方法を用意してる。これまでずっとそのために努力してきた。僕のことは軽視してもいいが、僕を否定する資格など君にはない。フォンテーヌは必ず救われる。今はまだどんな未来になるかは見えないけど、このまま続けていけば僕は誰にも恥じることなく胸を張れる。
She's actually seriously with
ならばとフリーナ殿が言う努力とは、それはどこで見られる？
僕は予言と同じく全てはその時が訪れれば開示される。君はただそれらが見えていないだけに過ぎない。
なるほど、さすが神だ。その努力とやらが私たち凡人には見えないものだとは。では僭越ながら質問の仕方を変えさせてもらおう。フリーナ殿、 開示できる部分だけを私たちに教えてもらうことはできるだろうか。例えば、そう、この災いに対する措置とか。
措置は
その表情から察するに、まさかこれも言えないと。
措置も秘密にすべき内容だ。
では少しヒントをあげよう。君たちの油脂最低カーディナルは一体何のためにあるものなのか。今まで蓄積してきた膨大な立証混合エネルギーは何に使うつもりだ。
油脂最低カーディナル？それはただ見ての通り。
君もよく理解していないと、そういうことかな。私の推測が正しければ、ある計画を企てている者がいる。ただ残念ながら、それは君ではないようだ、フリーナ殿。リネが歌劇場にいた時、ほんの少し油脂機に近づいただけで、大量の立証混合エネルギーが付着した。それで、このことに気づいてね。この件も君とは無関係となると、水神様ともあろうお方が、まさか本当に何もしていないわけじゃないだろうね。おっと、なるほど、そういうことか。最高審判官のヌビレット殿がお茶会に出席していないのを見るに、彼はフリーナ殿に命じられて何かトラブルの処理をしているのだろう。
あ、そうだとも。そういうことじゃ。このことは内密にしてくれ。
それは無論だが、最高審判官殿がそばにいないとなると、フリーナ殿もさぞかし自信を失うようだ。さて、話はここまでにしよう。まだケーキが少し残っている。そちらの皆さんで召し上がってくれ。
Damn. And to deal with the surging. Oh, can he really do it?
旅人、先日最高審判官殿に面倒な仕事を任せられたと聞いている。どうぞケーキをもう一つ取ってくれ。苦労した者は報酬と感謝を受けるべきだからね。
I wonder
アイ
about.
ロンもさあ。
ありがとな。じゃあ遠慮なく。やっぱりケーキは最高だな。
この僕のテーブルに乗るデザートはどれも一級品だからね。あ、そうだ。召使いが美味しいケーキを持ってきてくれたことにも感謝しないと。
礼は結構。ここにいる皆さんに味わってもらえるのは。
I wonder if Alachino knew about the situation.
私はただフリーナ殿の好みに合わせて一緒にお茶を飲みながらおしゃべりできるチャンスを用意したに過ぎない。さて、もういい時間だ。今日のお茶会もそろそろお開きにするのはどうかな。私はまだ用事があるので先に失礼させてもらおう。
よかろう。ではお開きだ。
旅人、もしよければ私をそこまで送ってくれないだろうか。最後の数分間で少し講師の話がしたい。
おいらも一緒に行くぞ。
このお茶会、想像以上に厄介なものだった。コホン！なぜ僕のことをそう見つめている？何か用でも？特になければ僕は休ませてもらうぞ。
Hmm. follow. Oh, damn. I wonder what she's hiding.
付き合ってくれて感謝する。まあ、講師はただの口実で、君たちと彼の間に何があったか
Just an excuse.
ないんだが。
You don't have to rub it
や
in.
っぱりな、そうだと思ったぞ。
前回、君がハウス・オブ・ハースの子供たちを救ってくれたことだ。彼らの父として礼を言わせてもらう。
There's no need. Was there nothing else you wanted to say?
公式な場では公式な話題を。逆にそうでなければ、公式な話題は避けるべきだ。話はそれだけさ。メロピデ要塞から戻ってきたばかりだと聞いてる。何もそう気を張らないでくれ。君から情報を聞き出そうとしているわけじゃない。あそこには、リネット、それにフレミニがいる。私は子供たちの能力と判断を信じているからね。
おう、あいつらすごく頑張ってたぞ。邪魔をしてくるやつには全力で抗ってな。特にリネのやつが。
リオセスリだろ。あれが手強いのは知っている。だがリネは強がりでね。他の者に頼ることをもっと学んでほしい。例えばこの私とかをね。ただの世間話だと思って答えてくれ。フリーナ殿についてどう思う？君は争いの外にいて、フォンテーヌで最も自由であり、何者にも縛られていない。私の視点から教えてやろ
う。以上がこたびの審判の顛末です。皇子様は有罪判決を下された後、そのままメロピデ要塞へと応送されました。
休暇を過ごしていたはずなんだがな。これほどの面倒事を残しておいて、羞恥心というものが全くないのか。
その
まあいい。全く無意味なわけでもない。ある人物に会いに行こ
う。手配いたしましょうか。
いや、必要ない。私が直々に動く。
直々か。
フリーナ殿に会う必要がある。彼女こそフォンテーヌの中核を担う存在。しかし面白いことに、彼女は神というよりもスターに近い存在と言える。
おや、おちびちゃん、こっちにおいで。
What? All this Alachino looks so sexy in that view.
Dude, I need to screenshot this.
私の目標はあくまで神の心の場所を特定すること。だが、まさかフリーナ殿にこうも簡単に近づくことができるとは。
Yep. Discovered the location of Genesis. I predicted it might be very likely to be on the machine.
無防備であればあるほど、それは餌である可能性が高い。だが、餌に手を出した人を責めることはできない。なぜなら、餌は釣り針にかけられた瞬間、 犠牲になる運命からもう逃れられないのだから。事実はまさに私が手を出す直前にしていた予想と同じ。水神は神の心を持っていない。
Joe's Genesis is not carrying help by the Archon, which means that she don't have the power.
それに加え、彼女はどうにも神には見えない。その身には何らかの呪いの気配がある。
Under some kind of curse. Oh.
君は誰？何をする気だ？殺さないで。お願いだから。
この瞳に宿る恐怖は決して嘘ではない。餌ではないことがこれでほぼ確定した。彼女に手を下す意味はなくなったようだ。私は難なく現場から離れられた。誰も私を探さなかったし、ましてや私が水神フォカロルスを襲撃したと告発する者もいなかった。フリーナ殿はこの件を他人に伝える度胸すらなかったのではないだろうか。
Oh. Is it even alright if you are saying this? She's even willing to kill the Hydro Archon for it. Like, why?
しばらくすると、案の定スパイから情報が入った。フリーナ殿は邸宅に戻った後、声を抑えながらすすり泣いていたそうだ。彼女はとても怖がっており、一晩中眠ることもできず、ケーキさえも喉を通らなかったという。疑う余地もない。フリーナ殿は何か問題を抱えている。私はある一つの推測を立てた。もしかすると
Neverlin.
水神は彼女ではなく、最高審判官のヌビレット殿なのではないかと。
But that is probably like that is probably that's what MiHoYo want people to think based on the assumption.
私には神の心を見つける使命がある。もしその推測が正しければ、神の心はヌビレット殿のところにある可能性が高い。それか、一般人では近づくことが許されない場所に隠されているか。
お父様。
But what is her true aim though? That's the one thing I really wonder.
Ah, 子供たちか。
メロピデ要塞から情報が届きました。講師様が失踪したとのことです。またメロピデ要塞に潜伏していた者と買収していた看守との連絡が途絶えました。
例のリオセスリという者がやったのだろ
う。おそらくそうだと思います。
執行官一人の価値は往々にして高いものだ。それも想像以上にな。これでフォンテーヌ側には外交的な責任問題を突きつけられる。実にいい機会を得た。水神フリーナ殿と最高審判官ヌビレット殿に会おう。面会の手配を。それからリネット、フレミネ、君たち3人にはやってもらいたいことがある。
はい。
公使タルタリアの失踪は計画外のものだったが突破口となる。こちらの正当性を訴えた後、私は計画を進めるための布石として譲歩しよう。そしてフリーナ殿とヌビレット殿に探りを入れる。流れは完全にハウス・オブ・ハースにある。メロピデ要塞の調査に私が行こうとするのはただのブラフ。本当に情報を集めるのはリネたちだ。その後のことは君も知っているはずだ。君はリネたちとも交友がある。隠すつもりはない。
お前、水神を襲ったのか？
どれだけ大声で叫んでもそれが公になることはない。フリーナ殿でさえ何事もなかったかのように振る舞っているのだからな。
そうか。
私はフリーナ殿と2回お茶を飲んだ。正直フォンテーヌの上層は想像よりも複雑らしい。以前はあのヌビレット殿こそが水神だと予想していたが、今となっては
Maybe that Hydro
気
Archon.
がする。
Yeah, he's not.
私は氷の徐行に付き従っている。神のあるべき姿を知っているんだ。だがヌビレット殿といい、フリーナ殿といい、どちらも何かが欠けている。あれが神だとは到底想像できない。これは単に私個人の感
Is
覚
there something that I'm also wanted to know?
大半の場合、感覚というのには理由がないものだ。情報を扱うものだというのに、故郷の神が誰なのかさえわからないなど、実に笑える。フォンテーヌは特別だと思わないか？まだ多くのことが水面下にありながら、こうして災難が迫りつつある。フォンテーヌ人が生き延びるには、おそらく自分たちでその術を考えるしかないのだろう。結局のところ、生きていることでチャンスは訪れる。今後もし必要な時が訪れれば、君と協力関係を結ぶことだって辞さない。すぐに答えを出さなくても大丈夫だ。何せ事態はここから先まだ変わる予感がする。 君の名前はよく大義と結びつくことが多い。いずれ共に手を組む日が来るはずだ。
Oh yeah?
こんなに早く戻ってくるとはな。いろいろと話したいこともあるだろう。私はこれで失礼させてもらうよ。
ヌビレット、問題は解決したのか？
ああ、現段階ではな。だが長期的に見て、この問題は非常に厄介だ。フォンテーヌがいずれ予言にある光景に直面するのではないかと憂慮に耐えない。フリーナを守ってくれたこと感謝する。
Maybe us.
簡単に言えば、私が力を使って大会の水を押しのけ、あのゲートを再び封印した。
How the happening of the tea party?
やはり召使いがフリーナに圧力をかけたか。明らかに探りを入れているようだが、その動機は私にもわからない。
Yeah, even I myself is not sure though. There is still something she is hiding.
聞こう。
You have enough power to force back the sea.
お前が水人ってことはないよな。あ、いや、適当に言ってみただけだけど。言えないのか？じゃあ他の話題にするか。別に無理に聞き出すつもりはないし。お前たちって本当変わってるよな。
God.
そのお前たちが私とフリーナを指すとして、君たちが何を想像しているかはわからぬが、私と彼女では様々な点において立場が全く異なる。
You managed to protect that needed to be defended?
ああ、メロピデ要塞は歴史が長い。あそこには数多くの苦しみと痛みが存在する。そして今、災難が訪れようとしている。なんと嘆かわしいことか。
なんで急に雨が
The what? It say that a dragon of water once present in Fontaine. Every time it raps, the sky will cloud out and pour in.
おそらく君の思った通りだろう。
It's the dragon of.
水？
そう驚かないでくれ。
Wow.
フリーナ。ああ、すまない。
That's it.
俺たちは当てずっぽうで行ったんだけど、まさか当たってたのか？なんか言ってくれよ。
君たちの推測は正しい。だが、どうか内密にしてくれると助かる。
Wow. I wasn't that far away. Damn.
絶対に誰にも言わないぜ。でも実はまだ一つ聞きたいことがあるんだ。
ああ、言ってみるといい。
お前は水元素の竜王としてメロピデ要塞の大海の水を押しのけたんだよな。フォンテーヌの予言も海水と関係があるんなら、お前の力でその危機を解決できないのか？
現在、私を含むすべての元素竜は完全な状態ではない。話によると、最古の選手がテイワットに降臨した際、竜の力を一部奪ったという。今の七神の剣能
Arrived. They seize a part of the dragon power. Oh, I was right. Today, the stolen power is a basis. I did think that the dragon lost their power and it was written in the Genesis, but at the same time, I did mention that. Also, my original theory about the stolen power was correct.
つの元素があって、神にも7つの元素がある。
あの時代を経験した先代の水の竜王は遥か昔に見まかられた。私はその後継者だが、それら古き歴史についてはあまり知らないのだ。神の消失によって元素を操る権能が変換される。そのようなことが起こらない限り、私も何もできないだろう。現状からして他の方法で予言に対抗することをお勧めしよ
お前でも解決できないってことか。
う。ところで、私はこれから少し急ぎの用事を片付けなければならない。もしまだ聞きたいことがあるのなら、また別の機会を見つけて、それらにまつわる古い話を語ろう。
おいらたちもちょうど行きたい場所があるんだ。旅人、メロピデ要塞に戻ろうぜ。おいらちょっと心配なんだ。じゃあまた今度な。
ああ、達者でな。
あ、ちょっと待って。Did they freaking call the name of the Aeon? I think that's just do it for now. Don't think I want to
say too much on that, but I need to stop around here. It's already pretty late. With that being said and done, everyone, have a good night rest. Don't forget to press the like button and subscribe if you have not. We will talk again at the next video or live stream. Yeah. I wonder if all those long life people love to chat a lot. I don't know. Oh.